Buckle your seatbelts and put those tray tables in an upright and locked position. You feel that?
I feel it.
We have everything on our stage.
E3 is absolutely nuts.
Don't change that channel. If you do, you might miss one of the greatest things ever.
Are you ready?
We've got pretty much every game that matters.
E3 is all about the big announcements.
Little thing called Halo 4.
Do you guys want more demos? You got them.
It's out of control!
This is by far the biggest event in video games. Everybody is totally here.
Joining us now, Irrational Games, Ken Levine.
That's right, we're gonna break news here.
I'm here with Todd Howard.
I woke up this morning, I'm like, good God, what is going on? This is amazing. Whoa, ever seen that before?
The president!
That is crazy.
Don't you love that? I love it!
There's hundreds of hours of gameplay. I'm sold.
The biggest gaming event of the year starts right now because we said so.
Okay, yes. Yes, I will be excited too then.
Now you are excited. Come on.
Hello and welcome to E3 12 Live. I'm Morgan Webb, and joining me once again are Kevin Pereira, Candace Bailey, and Mr. Blair Herter.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. We're coming to you live from the center of the gaming universe, the Los Angeles Convention Center. We have 3 more hours of live coverage, and that person is very excited. There's one man who's excited. Thank you.
Coming up on today's show, the game that everyone is talking about. We have got your first look at Watch Dogs, the cyber thriller that stole the show at the Ubisoft press event.
Blew my mind yesterday. Plus, we've got a whole lot of games with a 3 in the title, which means the other 2 made a lot of money. For instance, the graphically stunning open-world game Crysis 3. Yes.
That's right. Then we're going to explore a tropical paradise full of naked ladies and psychotic criminals that want to kill you in Far Cry 3.
Sign me up. And later, Capcom comes by with Lost Planet 3. This one's all about smashing everything you see, but this time with a giant mech.
Sold.
That's fun. Makes it more fun.
All right.
Makes it more fun.
But first, let's check in with the rest of the G4 crew. They're like our Avengers, except way less superpowery.
We did not tell them that, though, right?
No,
I don't want
we
to send
didn't
people
tell
out with that. I told Sarah she could leap an entire building.
Oh, it's going to go well.
She smashed it.
Oh,
You're going to see that
Sarah.
later, actually. It's pretty entertaining the way that worked out. The team is on the show floor, visiting the booths. They're busting some heads, and they're finding out the best that this cavern of gaming goodness has to offer.
Can you feel it? Yeah, everybody's going nuts. Coverage through the roof. We've got more great games coming your way, more breaking news. Can I get a huzzah?
You never know what you're going to find here at E3. I'm sitting in a Halo 4 and Best Buy 3D chalk outline awesome artwork thing. About to get my picture taken as Master Chief. See ya.
Hey guys, I'm here at NBA Baller Beats, checking this game out. Now, y'all don't know, but I got some skills. The court's my second home, so check this out right quick. I told y'all. What? On to the next game.
Hey, Matt Myra here. Check it out. That is the original alien prop from the 1986 movie Aliens. It's 26 years old. When I was 26, my hair had gone gray, and I'd lost most of it. This is aging better.
This is the only way to get around at this point, really. Make sure you stay tuned. We got games and demos coming up. Sarah! Thanks, y'all. Today I will be hanging out at our Twitter wall, which might be sentient. I'll be giving away prizes all day, so you don't believe me? You don't? Well, how about this? Twitter user Mr. Smiley, you have just won a PlayStation 3. Yay! I like your name. Today we'll be giving away another PlayStation 3, a Nintendo 3DS, and an Xbox 360. If you want to have a shot at winning one of these consoles, all you have to do is head over to g4tv.com/E3sweeps and use the hashtag E3 on G4. Now this hour, your tweets will enter you for a chance to win a Nintendo 3DS. And now let's send it over to Kevin and Morgan for our first demo of the day.
I like it. We don't mess around.
No, she's so kind. Yes, and thank you, Santa Bailey, for giving away the wonderful prizes. Hey, Crysis 3 is the latest visually impressive open-world game from the graphics card melters at Crytek.
The urban jungle of New York City has been turned into a literal jungle, and you'll be taking down enemies with a deadly compound bow. Let's go hands-on.
Joining us now, Crytek Director of Creative Development, Rasmus Hojengard. How are you, sir?
Welcome.
I'm fine, thank you.
Thanks for coming here. I'm a huge fan of the series, but I do not know what happened to New York. The nursery has gone out of control. It is suddenly a jungle.
Yeah, so the game basically takes place 20 years after Crysis 2, and Cell Industries, which is one of the organizations who fight in Crysis 2 and in Crysis 1, they've gained a lot of power, and they've built these massive nanodomes over a lot of cities. And these domes basically accelerate plant growth, which cleans the cities from within from any leftover Ceph pollution, the alien race Ceph. What they're really doing is making sure no one disturbs them while they're researching all this Ceph technology, which they're really interested in, because ultimately they want to have global domination, and they believe that this technology is...
That old global domination thing again. Why do they always want that?
It's money, baby.
Ah.
So now inside these domes, there's not a civilian population.
No, there isn't. There are people that you help in there. There is a group of kind of like rebels, if you will. But part of making sure that people understand how evil a corporation Cell is, everybody has been thrown out of the cities, peacefully have been forcefully rejected from their homes. So it's pretty clear that these are the bad guys, along with the Ceph race, obviously.
Right. Now, what are we looking at right here? I saw a little stealth mode action there, and seeing some bow action, and now it looks like something that's going to put bullets through people.
Yeah, I mean, one thing we're pushing very hard in the game is that Prophet, which is the character you play, is the hunter within this urban rainforest setting. And part of that, he's been given this bow, which you saw a little before, which not only is a very cool kind of low-tech meets high-tech weapon, it's also a very customizable weapon. There's a number of different arrowheads, and one of them you can fire while you're cloaked, which really adds a lot of value to the sense of being stealthy and a hunter, which is kind of an ongoing theme in the game.
Sure.
You can also equip it with a number of other warheads, like you can electrocute enemies if they're in water, and there's like sticky grenades and proximity grenades, and a host of other things we'll reveal as we go on.
So now, the series really is known for its graphics and the fact that it melts graphics cards.
It makes computers weep.
It really does. However, you get so much visual fidelity for that. So what's your sort of theory on that this time?
Well, I mean, we definitely want to push the high end. You know, PC is definitely a driving platform for a lot of the visual goodies we want to put in. I can't really go into detail about what exactly is going to be there, but we obviously want to make sure that everything looks good regardless of platform, but we also want to re-establish Crytek and Crysis as kind of like the benchmark setter for visual fidelity on the high-end hardware, right? So, and also the environment that you play in this whole setting of a completely overgrown city. It's a great environment for both huge scale, but also a lot of attention to kind of micro detail, which, so we basically have the whole spectrum there, right? And also we want to push the more sandboxy gameplay elements that people might remember from Crysis 1, but also keep a lot of the verticalities and the more funneled experiences whenever that makes sense that people might remember from Crysis 2. So it's kind of like taking whatever experience and knowledge we had from those two first games, building on that, and then make something even better from that.
So, to the sandbox gameplay aspect, this mission that we're watching here, I'm sure there's an objective, right? There's a goal that we're trying to complete as the gamer, but how many different ways are there to tackle that within any given level or mission?
I mean, there are basically, well, there is in theory infinite, but I mean, if you take this particular little area well, it's not that little, but this area that CJ is running around in now, there are kind of three main paths, and each of these paths then branch in multiple connectivity paths and also multiple verticality paths. So that you can choose to approach it either stealthily or gun blazing or a combination of that. You could go in stealth. If that gets disrupted, you can go into hiding and move away and circumvent them and flank them, go into stealth again. So it's like a really great playground, and especially if you use the bow, which is something we've noticed that a lot of people who play the game, they really use the bow, and that's very cool because that was really what we were hoping for. Again, because we want to push this sense of you being the hunter.
Right. Yeah, hunting with an AK is a little bit easier though, but the bow looks way
not
cool.
quite as cool.
Yeah, the bow is way cool.
You give yourself away a little bit though when that thing goes off. Okay, are we going to actually recognize any locations in New York?
Yeah, you'll see landmarks. And I mean, the one thing we really want to build into is that you shouldn't think about that you're in New York all the time when you play the game, but there needs to be these moments where you go like, holy, is that really? And you know, so we've not just planted a lot of trees inside New York City, we've really completely defined like the concept of a rainforest with the geometry that you see in a city, like houses and collapsed houses and so on. And here you can see like the big skyscrapers. They basically act as mountains, which means that the concept of the wonder that we call all these is called canyon here, because you always feel like you're in a canyon between mountains. And there's going to be like mountain top areas, grasslands, and all kinds of different things. When we announced the game, the wonder that we showed there was the one we call Swamp, which is a much more eerie and dark and a little more claustrophobic, not as open-ended as this. This is probably a good kind of middle ground for what the game is going to be in terms of scale. And then there's going to be bigger areas and there are going to be more confined areas.
Well, Rasmus, I recently built a new gaming rig specifically to play this game. Did I do it too early? When do we get to play the new game?
No, I don't think so. The game launches in 9 months from now, so it's not that long into the future, but obviously it's still pre-alpha code, so it's not a finished game.
I can't, this is the best pre-alpha I've seen in a long time.
February 2013 is
awesome.
the launch date.
Rasmus, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming by.
I appreciate it.
You know what's great about these guys is, so yesterday you were all behind the barrier and they're slowly creeping up. So I feel like by the end of the show, they will be hosting this and I will be taking a nap. So that was the first of many live hands-on demos you're gonna see on the show today. Coming up, we're gonna take on another chaotic open world adventure when we bring the most shockingly not safe for work game of E3, Far Cry 3, to this stage. It is bloody. Plus the latest on WWE 13, straight from one of the game's stars. Seamus will be here revealing what's changing in this year's edition, and hopefully he will not be angered by me and I will not leave here on a stretcher. We will be right back.
Totally know how to wail. I'm a prodigy. Check it. Here we go. Go! Hey. Back front. Eyes up front.
How do you follow up a demo of Crisis 3 with a demo of the game that nearly melted our censor button during the Ubisoft press conference?
Yeah, I was there. We were sitting behind them. They're like, oh God, red button. Far Cry 3 has you fighting for your life on a tropical island full of gun-wielding thugs who won't hesitate to kill you.
Nope.
After, of course, delivering a cool monologue. That's what all the kids are doing these days.
Yep.
Let's go hands-on with Far Cry 3.
Joining us now is executive producer Dan Hay. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks very much.
Okay, so this is something I'm excited about. You are returning to the tropical island setting. Tell us where we are and what we're doing other than chasing manta rays.
Yeah, basically you're talking about Jason. What he's done is he came to the island. I remember last year, if you look at Far Cry, you met Jason, and he was a bit of a victim. We met Voss, obviously insane, obviously crazy. And Far Cry has always been a sort of off the map, right? It's been a lawless frontier. So you meet a guy like Voss, and then you spend a little bit of time in his world, and you start to maybe become a little bit like him. And we meet Jason roughly 2 months later, as now he's been trained, he's gone the way of the warrior, he's covered in tattoos, he's got a brand new bow that he's going to use, and he's going to basically go and find Voss and get payback.
He's also clearly learned how to talk to the ladies.
Oh yeah.
What we saw in the Ubisoft press conference as
From
well.
the demo, we definitely saw that.
And what we saw in the demo too, we saw a lot of incredible knife combat. So obviously there's a lot of close quarter stuff in the game, but the Far Cry series, one of the hallmarks has always been how big the environments are. So what kind of environment, how large are we looking at this year in this game?
Well, I mean, we talked about it in the press conference. It's not one island, it's not two. There's a whole archipelago that you can basically explore. And it's about the freedom to explore. Play the game your way, right? We have action bubbles, and we want you to take this 360-degree approach. If you can see it, you can go there, you can play it the way you want, and it's all systemic. When we were playing the demo, if you look at the panic on my face, we didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah, we were watching you. You look terrified.
But you also like that. But you can take a certain situation in a number of different ways.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you can still do that in Far Cry.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, I like to sort of sit back, and I've got a sniper rifle. The thing is, you got to have adaptive AI. You got to have smart AI in that circumstance. For me, we want to make sure that if you decide to sit back and poach guys and take them out one at a time, you can do that. But we also have AI that can come in, they can light stuff on fire. We've got the Great Fire from Far Cry 2 coming back. The whole place can go up. We've got dogs that come after you, using the environment, using the animals, which you're actually going to see in the demo. It's pretty cool.
So how these, I mean, I don't want to say infinite amount of options, but how do all this massive amount of options, how does that affect the storyline? Is it going to be, do you have branching storylines, or is it completely linear?
What Jason's doing is he's come to the island, and he didn't realize what he was walking into, right? Pretty normal guy, and basically his friends were taken. And now his job is to figure out a way to get his friends back. And as he does that, he begins to get pulled into the island. He meets Citra, who we all saw, and he begins to fall for that. And the question is, you know, it's player choice. Which way are you going to go? And we take that all the way from the meta, all the way down to the moment-to-moment gameplay. Player choice. How are you going to go in? How are you going to do it? Are you going to do it stealthily? Are you going to sneak in? Are you going to go in guns blazing?
So yeah, I was going to ask you, what mission are we on right here? And can you tell us a little bit about what we're doing?
This is where Jason is going after Voss. Basically, this is Voss's compound. Voss is obviously a weird guy. He's got too much power, right? And we think of him like almost a tortured artist.
Right.
What he's actually doing here is he's been torturing your friends, and he's created these little installation art pieces where he can play them back to you. Now, what Jason's doing is he's going into Voss's lair, and he's going to see if he can catch him unawares. But the reality is, Voss has been through everything Jason's been through, and in about 10 seconds, Jason's going to realize how much trouble he's in.
We've seen a lot of, we've obviously talked about the bow, we talked about the knife combat,
Yeah.
clearly saw a gun there, but what kind of other weapons are we can we expect to see in this game?
For us, we wanted to make sure that it was, if you're a shooter player, you're going to love it. You're going to have a lot of guns that you can play with, the flamethrowers, all that stuff, but we also want to make sure that we bring in the bow, right? The bow's a big deal for us. And Jason can be very, very stealthy. It's deadly. There's a lot of hunting in the game where you can go out and you can actually look for animals that you can then skin them and take their hides back and sell them, and you've got a whole game economy for it.
Now, so you mentioned stealth mode. So
Yeah.
now, how does that work? You're just going to use cover, your cover-based system?
Really, the way it works is we want the player to be able to sort of attack it the way they want to do it. So if you come up to an action bubble, we want to give you the whole everything you're looking down. Let's say I'm looking down at a ship or a shipwreck. I've got a ton of AI down there. What am I going to do? How am I going to do it? I can go in stealthily. I can sneak up behind them. I can gut them one at a time. I can take a rock and I can throw it, and I can have the AI move. We want them to be really smart. What if they have dogs? The dogs can hear us. They can smell us. We've got to be careful about that. We might want to start a fire. We might want to skulk around and go behind a waterfall and then jump out and then take a guy down death from above. It's how you play it. It's how you play it.
And I want to talk a little bit, you showed a lot of great things at the press conference, but the thing I think that stood out to me the most was the cooperative element that you have.
Yeah.
It's not just your standard drop in, drop out co-op. You've got 4 people wreaking a lot of havoc on the internet.
Yeah,
I want you to just explain what it is you guys actually did with co-op, because it looked amazing in
What
that
we
demo.
did is we said to ourselves, okay, Far Cry experience in the past has been all about the single player experience and making sure that you're alone in that forest. You're feeling like, oh man, I'm alone. There's no 911. What am I going to do? And we wanted to protect that. So with co-op, we just said, well, let's just make a second game. So
Why not?
It's not
hard enough to design one game.
Exactly. So you have Jason, who's a regular guy, right? And he begins to discover insanity. What happens when you flip that on its head? What happens when you take 4 characters that have effectively been expelled from our society, who have to go out there and make a living somehow, and you put them with their own brand of insanity on a completely different island?
Bad things happen is what I think.
Bad things happen.
All right, well, we can't wait to find out. So when does Far Cry 3 come out?
This September, and it's coming out on the PS3, the 360, and the PC.
Awesome. Well, Dan, thank you so much for stopping by. It's always a pleasure. Round of applause for this gentleman right here.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks, buddy.
Looks great.
Thank you, guys. Listen, over the years, we've seen Lego games, and they featured franchises like Star Wars, Harry Potter, Batman, Indiana Jones, Pirates of the Caribbean, etc., etc., etc.
And the whole time, gamers have been saying, where is the Lord of the Rings game?
Where is the Lord of the Rings game?
Well, it's finally here,
Oh.
and Sarah has the latest.
I don't know why I was getting so angry about it.
I love Legos, and I love the Lord of the Rings. If only there was one way to bring those 2 things together.
They have a cave troll.
All right, my man. I thought Frodo had the ring, the cat is in the bag, end of story. What is happening?
We're going to tell the whole story of Lego Lord of the Rings, from beginning to end that massive epic quest in a way you've never seen before. Like any LEGO game, it's made of fun. We tell the story with humor. You get to play as all the characters from the whole story, good guys and bad guys. You get to be the Fellowship and take on all their cool powers.
What do you think is the appeal of LEGO animated games?
Because we get to play with your favorite characters. We get to take the worlds of your imagination, the world's greatest characters and stories, and fool around with them. We get to have fun. We tell the story, we give you everything you want from the story, we give you the music, we give you the drama, the emotion, the voices, and then we just put a spin on it.
All right, when can we buy this thing?
LEGO Lord of the Rings is coming out at the end of this year on all gaming platforms, Xbox 360, PC, Wii, on handhelds, 3DS as well, PC, Mac. If you want to play LEGO Lord of the Rings, and you should, then you will be able to.
All right, fantastic. I'm gonna go play it. Actually, can you hold on to this for me? Is that okay? It's kind of heavy, just warning you. Okay, thank you.
Hey, you stay right there. G4's coverage of E3 Live is just getting started. In fact, in only a few short minutes, WWE superstar Sheamus will be here.
Yes.
Talk about WWE 13.
Plus, a classic performer series is back, and this time with Wii U support. What? We'll hit the floor with a look at Rayman Legends right after this.
G4's live coverage of E3 2012 is brought to you by the all-new Ford Focus ST.
Probably not for us.
Nope.
We'll explain in a second.
We're next to a WWE superstar right now.
Yeah, it's whatever. You know, look, despite how I was raised, my rural Louisiana upbringing, I have learned that it's not actually okay to hit your friends and your loved one with folding chairs, despite my
That's how my family showed affection.
It's Portuguese.
I think, yeah.
Right?
But that behavior is welcome and encouraged
Yes.
not only in a Portuguese household, but in WWE 13. And this year's edition brings some changes to the virtual squared circle.
Just get closer. He's just getting himself closer to me. It's fine.
Stephen
WWE superstar Sheamus, ladies and gentlemen.
Respect him or he will crush you with an icy stare.
I love how he's like, look, I know I'm going to tower over them anyway, but I'm going to do my hair super high, too.
Exactly.
Just to add some height. Sheamus, this is looking to be, look, the WWE games are always huge games, but this one looks to be the biggest one yet. Over 70 characters in the game. Can you name a few, besides yourself, of course, and why people would want to play with anyone?
Not that
besides
anybody
yourself,
else
of
matters,
course.
yes.
Believe it or not, actually, it's great. The current superstars are revealed right now. Obviously, myself, CM Punk, Mark Henry, and Big Show. There are going to be a lot more superstars revealed, but they'll be over time. I know SummerSlam's going to be a big time for us as well. Not just for that huge pay-per-view we have, but also because THQ are going to announce some more superstars and downloadable characters that may be added. The big thing this time, of course, is the Attitude campaign, which is basically the chance to relive a lot of the great Attitudes feuds and storylines and matches from who so far Stone Cold Steve Austin, Undertaker, and Mankind have been basically revealed. You know, it's the revolution. WWE13 is the revolution. They say Attitude Era is the revolution. Punk talked about a revolution in WWE right now. So we're really excited about it, and being able to mix and match the Attitude Era with the current crop of superstars is a dream for everybody. Plus, on top of that, the actual technology is off the charts. I had a chance to play this game earlier on. Man, the graphics are greater. Yeah. The audio sound actually feels like you're actually with the crowd noise and the commentary. It feels like you're actually at a WWE show, so you're experiencing that live feeling. And I said that even the moves are greater. My attire, all the entrances are pumped up. They're all updated. And I feel like a big kid here again. I'm playing it. I'm dragging me out of that room.
Greatest on-air promo we've ever had on E3.
They drag me out of that room. Actually, it's still up there playing it right now.
He's like, I got to do the stupid interview, then I'm going right back to play the game.
Yeah. Now, when they capture your performance, are they taking video of your ring entrance and of your moves, or do they cover you with ping pong balls and have you actually recreate yourself inside of an arena?
I wouldn't let anyone put ping pong balls to me or crazy glue ping pong balls to me. But we have people. I think the technology as well is based on our entrances. They're all studied down to a T, so everything is actually exactly how it plays out on television. And all the moves are updated. Characters are constantly evolving. So because of that, you know, THQ realized that they have to keep up with that, and on WWE 13, that's why everything is straight up to date and on the ball. Also, you see here, we got spectacular moments there of the ring falling apart with Big Show and Mark Henry. Big Show suplex and Mark Henry. I went through a barrier here in the Staples Center at SummerSlam with Mark Henry. You can relive that moment too. It's great. It's
Would you ever want to?
No, not me.
Exactly.
But in the video game,
in the video game, sure.
I'm fine with it.
And talk a little bit about the story. Obviously, the story is important. You said that they can relive the Attitude Era, and I think one of the hallmarks of that era was the storyline. So what are they offering in terms of storyline here in WWE 13, as far as maybe your own personal career, how you can move through this game?
Well, right now with the Attitude campaign, it's actually like reliving actual stories or moments that happened in WWE history.
Yeah, the big ones.
The big ones. The big ones that actually set WWE in the course to where it is today. You know, the moments that inspired myself, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Alberto Del Rio, Randy Orton, superstars who are now like trying to push the WWE in a new direction, or keep bringing it on, you know. Well, I can't reveal too much, of course, because we don't want to kill the buzz right away. All I can tell you is the Attitude campaign is off the charts. As I said, I'd still be up there playing it right now. Some of my favorite moments and some of my favorite superstars, and I can tell you it's great.
Well, Sheamus, when do we get to explode a McMahon's limo or hit somebody with a chair or fall through a barricade at Staples? When do we get to play it?
You got a great imagination.
I recall a limousine blowing up. I recall that.
It did happen. That's the great thing about WWE. Anything can happen, and everything pretty much does. But someone tells me you're a close friend of The Miz, right?
It depends on how you are with The Miz at the moment. Because I hate the dude if
this
you
man
hate
here is close friend of The Miz.
No. I just whenever a wrestler asks if someone,
are you guys good?
No, you know, I've talked nothing but great things about this game, right? It's off the charts, as I said. The only thing was, I was very disappointed when my overall score was exactly the same in The Miz, which 89.
Oh, I disagree with that categorically.
Absolutely.
Everybody knows.
I hate that
talked
too.
about that.
Everybody knows The Miz couldn't kick snow off a rope or fight his way out of a paper bag.
Absolutely.
So I still don't know why my score is the same as me. I'm really disappointed.
All right, so when can people expect to see this incredibly unbalanced fighting simulator? When can people get their hands on this game in store?
October 30th, fella, the day before Halloween. It's when it all breaks loose. The biggest WWE game ever, WWE 13th, fella. It's coming soon.
Let's go, Kevin. Let's just get off the. He's good.
I love it. I thought you were gonna.
You're good, man.
I'm taking over the show.
Sheamus, everybody! Thank you, Sheamus. You're way better than The Miz. Way better than The Miz.
All right.
Sheamus, I love your hair. It's awesome. Cool hair. I like it. Okay. All right, let's see what's going on in Twitterville, shall we? All day we're tracking the most popular games that everyone is talking about, like surprise, surprise, Halo 4. It's been at the top of the list the entire time. We're also counting the total number of E3 tweets, which now sits at just under 2 million. Crazy. Now, if you got something to say and you feel like winning stuff, all you have to do is tweet using the hashtag E3 on G4 and head over to g4tv.com/E3sweeps.
Who says platformers are a dead genre? Fools! That is who! This fall, Ubisoft's gonna follow up to Rayman Origins on the way, and it fully embraces the Wii U's new touchscreen. We have got all the details in this floor report.
Take a critically acclaimed franchise and a recently leaked for internal eyes only trailer, and you've got enough buzz around a game to make it the stuff of legends. I am here with Michael, who is the senior game manager for Rayman Legends. Talk to me about how this game has evolved from the original.
Oh, well, basically, as we were wrapping up Rayman Origins, we finally got our hands on the brand new Wii U, and it's really cool. You know, we thought we could do a lot of cool things with this.
What do you think fans are going to be the most excited about?
I think they're going to be most excited about playing on the Wii U and holding that new controller. You know, you've got a lot of different things we can do with that. You've got the touch-based gameplay, but also what it does is it has that second screen, so kind of have this asynchronous gameplay. The guy holding the gamepad, he sees something different. He can help, either it's like a puzzle where he's helping the other player out, so it's a totally new way of playing co-op.
So when can we get our hands on the legal version of the game?
Well, we don't have a launch date yet. When the Wii U comes out, hopefully very soon after or during, you'll be able to get your hands on Rayman Legends. It's going to be awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Michael.
Coming up after the break, the game that lets you decimate horrible creatures with a giant mech. It's Lost Planet 3.
Plus a big world premiere. Find out why it's fun to be Death when we go hands-on with the apocalyptic action game Darksiders 2. We will be right back. Yeah!
It's always fun to come to E3 and check out what's new and hot in the world of video games, but I love Retro Corner, where you can check out games from your childhood. We had Astro Blaster over there, Donkey Kong Jr., 1942, Ms. Pac-Man, but my all-time favorite, Galaga. Give it to me, the tabletop with Galaga and Ms. Pac-Man. It's been a while since games cost a quarter. I mean, when is the last time you heard this beautiful sound? Oh, give it to me. Here we go.
Is brought to you by GameFly, the best way to rent and buy games.
Players against enemies that are enormous in size and incredibly difficult to take down. But in Lost Planet 3, you get to turn the tables and bust heads while operating a giant mech. Let's go hands-on for more. Joining us now is producer Andrew Szymanski. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. So right now we are not in a giant mech. What are we looking at right here?
Yeah, we've actually just gotten out of our giant rig, and we're fighting some of the acrid creatures on foot. This one is called the Pack Hunter.
The Pack Hunter, see, the reason that scares me is because it's called the Pack Hunter.
And it hunts in packs.
Yeah, I think it might hunt in packs.
Yeah.
So are we expecting any more of these?
Yes, we're expecting more, and as you can see, the rig is actually frozen over. So what you're going to have to do is shoot all the ice off of the rig in order to start it up again and then be on your way.
Okay, so we maybe went a little backwards there. So maybe introduce people to the Lost Planet series.
Sure. Well, Lost Planet is basically a third-person shooter franchise. It takes place on a planet called ENunn, which is a very frozen, desolate planet. And in this particular installment, we're actually going back, even though it's the third game, we're going back earlier in the chronology, so it's actually a prequel to the first game.
And so tell me more about this planet and its local flora and fauna here.
Well, there's a native life form called the acrid. That's what we're fighting right now. And basically the humans are trying to set up a colony, and they're trying to sort of exploit the resources of the planet. And in order to do that, they have to go in the habitats of the acrid, so the acrid, of course, fight back.
I mean, one could argue they would have a right to do that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's the difference between fighting human enemies and fighting the acrid, because the acrid are just trying to survive, as is the main character Jim.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the campaign and the main character, Jim.
Sure. Well, Jim is kind of a blue-collar, working-class kind of guy who's come from Earth to ENunn in order to perform contracts for the colonization, because he's left his wife and kid back on Earth, and he wants to earn hazard pay to support them. Over the course of his adventure, he's taking on contracts, but eventually he'll get wrapped up in greater mysteries, and that's really kind of where the intrigue of the game begins.
So he starts out as sort of a mercenary who wants to make some money, and then he ends up here. Now we're actually in the giant mech, and we see the course of combat has turned a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. The enemies earlier that we were kind of struggling to defeat on foot, now we can basically just crush to a pulp with the giant utility rig.
Now, so are you mostly a lone soldier, a lone wolf?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Jim, and this is something that we've really taken pains to put in the game, is that he's not a soldier. He's not a military man. He's very much, an engineer slash, working class guy who, has come there to do construction work. But it's such a hazardous environment that he has to kind of, learn how to improvise to survive in that environment. But eventually he does get wrapped up in more intrigue and sort of these kind of political struggles.
Okay, and so right now we're seeing some, he has a grappling hook also.
Yes, he has a grappling hook. That's something that's pretty well known in Lost Planet, and is making its return here in the third game.
Okay, so now we unfortunately have left the mech again.
Yeah.
And what mission are we attempting to complete here?
Basically, we're going down into a cave system in order to plant a thermal post, which is basically a device that you can plant that will suck out the thermal energy. That's the resources the colonists are trying to get in order to provide a new energy source for Earth. So as we get farther down in this cave system, you're going to see that he's going to try to plant a post, but there's going to be something waiting for us here in a few minutes.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the weapons that he has and he's going to be using here.
Sure. Well, he's just picking up the shotgun right now. Unlike some of the previous Lost Planet games that had very futuristic, like particle beam weapons and things like that, because it does take place in the past, we're trying to ground it more in sort of, the 21st century that we know, even though it is sci-fi and it is in space. So you're going to see a lot more gunpowder weapons, assault rifles, shotguns, and even a hunting rifle that Jim actually owns. That's his family heirloom that he's brought to the planet with him.
And what kind of pacing is this game going to be known for? Is it more stealth-oriented? Is it a little bit more, Halo/Rambo-oriented?
That's a good question. We like to vary the pace between sort of the outdoor vistas and a lot of exploration inside of the mech, and then when you come down into more confined areas, you get more suspense, sort of claustrophobic gameplay against enemies in tight spaces. But definitely, the shooting sequences are something that are a hallmark of the franchise, and we're going to see that.
I would say this is another hallmark of the franchise right here.
Yes, giant monsters, yes.
All right, I like it. So we're going to wish for the best for our friend here. When is the release date?
Release date is early 2013, and it's going to be out for Xbox 360, PS3, and PC.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to kill some giant monsters. What about you guys? That's right. Thank you so much for coming by. We really appreciate it.
E3, it is a huge event, but there's something even bigger on the horizon, San Diego Comic-Con. This year's event sold out in 90 minutes, and G4 is your only way in. We're the only network broadcasting live from the floor with breaking news, celebrity guests, collectibles, and a ton of surprises. We'll have live episodes of Attack of the Show and X-Play, and 3 hours of coverage from the floor on Saturday. 3 days of live Comic-Con coverage kicks off July 12th at 3 only on G4. Now coming up in just a few minutes, we will have a world premiere demo of Darksiders 2. You'll play as Death, who's a little angry that his fellow horseman is in trouble. Plus, Grant Bowler, the star of the new sci-fi series Defiance, will be here to talk about the MMO that ties into the narrative. We will be right back.
Yeah! Hey guys, I just got done playing Halo 4 and I won, so they gave me this. Isn't it cool? I didn't actually win it and they didn't give it to me, but it's still pretty cool. Now, it's got a lot of features on it. The left top button, that makes a cappuccino. The bottom right button kills people. So it's a very versatile machine. I think you can get it at Brookstone. I'm not 100% sure. It's from the future. But anyway, we're here at E3. Halo 4 is coming. Get it. If you don't mind, I have to go back to killing people. And I mean pretend to kill people because this isn't real.
No. I'll clarify. Matt Myra is an actual murderer. All right, let's talk about E3. We all know it's a national obsession. It's all about surprises, like being sucker punched by some game no one's ever heard of. Or maybe there's some glass that's kind of intelligent that nobody knew was going to come from a certain company that rhymes with Cricro cloth. We love surprises. So let's take a look at some of E3's biggest shockers in this Kit Kat news break. All right, join me in welcoming Eric from our website and everybody's favorite Larry, Mr. Major Nelson is here. Good to see you too. Listen, I'm supposed to ask you what your biggest surprises of E3 are. I'm gonna have you reserve your answer for after Eric answers. Eric, is it smart glass? Because we knew nothing about this.
I was gonna say we know about smart glass, but still, it's really an incredible piece of technology. I mean, watching what it can do, it makes second screen make sense now, because before I would never have done that, but it's quite powerful and quite interesting.
Right. On the hardware level, that is something I think that everybody's talking about on the hardware front. But let's talk software for a second. I know that you guys have both been incredibly busy, and a lot of times you don't get to see as much as you would like. So maybe what's kind of the buzz you guys have heard? What game do you think that people are most talking about here at this show? Larry, we'll start with you.
Well, I got to start with Halo 4. I mean, obviously it's near and dear to my heart. When I just left the Halo theater, and if you look at the top there, I mean, there's all these ribbons from all the awards that it's won, Best of Show, and the list goes on and on and on and on. So, I mean, the team at 343 Industries has done extraordinary work with the Halo universe. And when people get their hands on this gameplay later this year, they're going to be stunned.
Yeah. I could not agree more. I think people's expectations were already very high. The content you delivered was unlike anything I think people expected to see, and that's really hard to do in an age where secrets are incredibly hard
Everybody
to keep.
knows everything.
Yeah, of which you kept 2 really big secrets this year, so well done on that, sir. And Erica, on your end of things, you know, you've been covering the lead up to this for months now on G4TV.com. Is there anything that maybe didn't meet your expectations? Were you hoping to see more of something, or maybe something that just disappointed you?
Not disappointed, but would like to see more from Star Wars 1313. We got a really brief glimpse of it. Only a couple seconds of real gameplay, but it looks incredible. Looks very clearly next gen, so that's obviously an interesting standpoint for myself.
Now, Lyra, this is a hard thing to ask you because I know everything that you guys do is so near and dear to your heart.
Yes.
A non-Microsoft property, a game that really stood out to you, something that you maybe were thinking, God, I really wish we would have done that first.
Yeah, I mean, that is a tough answer. I don't know if I'm going to be able to politically answer that one. I mean, I just look around at some of the great titles that they have on the other platforms, and it's good to see that type of innovation in this so far in the cycle. So I'm going to pass on that question.
All right, but we'll talk later.
Absolutely,
tell me your answer.
absolutely.
That's fine. And then Erica, anything that you saw maybe that did exceed your expectation? I know for me personally, Dead Space 3, I had a really good idea of what the Dead Space franchise was. They came in, showed me some co-op that provided that crazy single-player experience. And I know for me, that was like, wow, you've really done an effective job with that.
I would say just total surprise was Watch Dogs. No one expected that. It came out of nowhere, and it was jaw-dropping. Everybody's talking about it. Just an amazing game that everybody wants to know more about, and unfortunately, we're not getting too many details.
Right.
But, looks sharp. Looks great.
All right. And my last thing for you guys, Far Cry 3, Tomb Raider, a lot of bow and arrow. Do we thank Hunger Games? Are we mad at them?
Right?
What about Hawkeye?
With it?
There's a lot of arrows in this year's E3.
Yeah.
It's the year of the arrow.
Can we confirm Halo 4 has bow and arrow in it? Can we do one? Can we confirm Halo 4 arrows?
I cannot confirm or deny, but I'll pass it on to the team.
Yeah. I'm going to go with a no on that one, I think, right there. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I know you're incredibly busy. Big round of applause for these two
Thank you.
as well. And congrats on the glass. It is fantastic. For now, let's send it over to Candace at the Twitter wall. Candace, is anybody talking about bows and arrows?
I think so. Thank you, Blair. All right, Twitter wall, let's have it. Real Kareem Ali, Major Nelson, I actually have a more favorable view of Halo 4 after what I saw yesterday. And Gears of War Judgment, I am on board. Another one from Major Nelson from Druid Necton. I am so excited about Halo 4 and Fable Journey. I cannot wait to play. Thank you. Well, I think a lot of people would agree with you with the Halo comment. And I'll speak on behalf of Major Nelson and say you're welcome. Now we've got more consoles to give away, and you can't win unless you tweet along with us. So tell us what you think about E3 and the latest games by logging in to G4TV.com/E3 sweeps and using the hashtag E3 on G4. Now a tweet this hour could win you a Nintendo 3DS.
I'm going to tweet. How about you?
I will tweet also.
Huzzah! Coming up in the next hour, we'll have more demos live on this very stage, including the world premiere of Darksiders 2.
Yes. Plus, a fan favorite receives a major makeover. Dante gets reinvented in DMC, aka Devil May Cry. We are going to go hands-on after this very tiny, itty-bitty short break.
You won't even notice it.
Nope.
You won't.
No, they won't.
G4's live coverage of E3 2012 is brought to you by Kit Kat Bars. Break time, anytime.
Back to E3 12 Live. We are showing you as many games as we can thanks to the imminent apocalypse.
Like our world premiere look at Defiance. This MMO is an open world shooter and ties into the upcoming sci-fi series set to debut this fall.
Synergy. Plus a game that any gearhead will enjoy. Learn everything you need to know about the Xbox 360 exclusive Forza Horizon.
And later, the MMO that wants to give World of Warcraft a run for its money, we've got world premiere gameplay of The Elder Scrolls Online.
If anybody's got a shot,
yep,
these guys do. But first, let's send it over to Kevin for a world premiere hands-on. Kevin!
Get ready, world! Here comes your premiere. In 2010's Darksiders, you played as War, which was one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. In the sequel, you're playing as his very angry brother, Death. Meh. That's a very kind name to give somebody. I'm sure it has nothing to do with his complex. It's fun family. Let's see the Grim Reaper in action in the world premiere demo of Darksiders 2. With me now, art director for Darksiders 2, Han Randhawa. How are you, sir?
Hey.
Thanks for joining us.
I'm doing really good. Really good.
Good. Enjoying E3?
Yeah, of what I can see of it, yeah, it looks fantastic.
Well, good. Let's talk about the greatest thing here, which is, of course, Darksiders 2.
Absolutely, yeah.
For the uninitiated, what type of game is Darksiders?
So Darksiders action-adventure. It's got like a lot of loot in there, a lot of questing, a lot of interaction with PCs. We've got 4 major environments. And yeah, it's basically the sequel to Darksiders 1.
Okay, and in this one, this is what's this exclusive here? This is a battle between War and Death that's coming up?
Yeah, it's a little kind of a battle that's coming up now. But before we get there, just explain a little bit what Death's doing here.
Please. Looks like he's murdering people left and right.
Well, they're not technically people, they're kind of skeletons.
Okay, fair enough. So decapitate away.
Right, yeah. So he's here to see the Crowfather, who is one of the characters who knows pretty much everything about everything. He's a secret keeper of secrets. Mm-hmm. So who else better to ask about what happened with War and why was he imprisoned in the first game? So he's basically here to find out, and obviously Crowfather's aware that he's going to be here. And
you were talking about loot as well, and there's plenty of it.
Absolutely.
So you can can you get different armor, different weapons, different abilities, different moves?
Absolutely, yeah. You can whenever you fight a creature or any boss, they drop loot, so you can equip armor, you can equip spells, all kinds of stuff. And it all really depends on what kind of character you want to play, whether you want to play combat orientated or more magic user.
Sure.
So, you know, that's up to you to tailor your Death to how you play.
And can we switch on the fly? Because I mean, if I want to play melee at first and then I decide, you know what, actually I'd rather sit back and do some range magic, can I just switch it up?
Absolutely, yeah. You can mix the two. So basically, you and me could both have very, very different looking characters on screen, both different playing as well. If you want to be combat heavy or if you want to be magic heavy, and you can switch that on the fly anytime you want. So
obviously I'm seeing some platformy, almost parkour elements going on here as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's traversal. We're a bit more traversal heavy than the first game. We really wanted to sell Death's agility in this one. You know, you got 2 characters, you got War, you got Death, and what we really wanted to do was to show that his brother, Death, is a lot more agile. He's a different fighter, he just thinks differently to War.
Sure. And now, what are some of the, first of all, this area that we're walking into looks gorgeous. What is this?
So this is basically Crowfather's inner chamber. So you've worked your way all the way up here to find some answers. And so Death's going to seek him out and sort of demand answers. You know, Death's the kind of person who comes knocking on your door. He doesn't ask, he demands.
Right.
So
usually with a sword or a magic spell to the face.
Whatever he has to hand, or whatever when you play have to hand.
So you mentioned that, you know, Death is far more agile, and you wanted to beef up traversing in the game. So I got that. But what other upgrades have been made for Darksiders 2?
Well, apart from that, he's basically the world's much bigger. Lots of questing to be done. We're going to give you the horse immediately this time.
Really?
So, you know, obviously a horseman needs a horse. And in Darksiders 1, you didn't get the horse till much later on. And in this one, we're going to give you the horse immediately because there's a lot of land, a lot of real estate to traverse, so you need to be getting up and going immediately.
And was that, so now here comes this is the battle here. This is what we've been leading up to.
This is right. So basically this is Crowfather's kind of like, you come into the chamber, you're going to speak to him, and then...
Speak to him, nice.
You see someone who you wouldn't expect to see, which is your brother War. So wait a minute, he's supposed to be imprisoned, right?
Right.
And you can really see the two characters' play style. It's a chance to actually see Death again, battling the way he does, using his kind of moves.
Sure.
And this is probably the best example of where you can really see the differences.
And I love how just dynamically the game switches. And I mean, from, you know, earlier it was multiple enemies. We're bouncing from skeleton to skeleton. Then we're traversing. Now this is a serious one-on-one battle.
Absolutely. This is two horsemen, two brothers, 2 Nephilim fighting it out. Basically, this is really kind of like a chance for the player to see these 2 guys in action on screen.
Incredible. And so we got some quick time events happening in between the action as well?
Absolutely, yeah. You're going to see beat prompts, and really you're going to want to use those when you get overwhelmed by a lot of enemy. Because later on in the game, we're not just going to throw you 1 or 2 guys. You're going to have like hordes of skeletons, and then you're also going to have big guys as well. So you're going to have to learn how to sort of, you know, tailor your fighting style to these different kind of guys. So.
And now, of course, you mentioned there's tons of loot. Like, I'm a fan of any game that gives me shiny objects to collect or equip.
Yes.
What are some of the weapons and spells that we're seeing here?
So what you're seeing is using your scythe, which is a big all-round kind of weapon. So you can use it in many different ways. And what you just saw there was an axe, which is a heavy weapon. So this is your secondary set of weapons. So these inflict a lot of damage. There's timing involved, so there's a little bit more of a wind-up to these kind of things. Great for clearance if you want to. And then you might want to also switch to melee weapons as well, which is claws and all kinds of things like that. So.
He's almost. I want to see this death animation so bad. As an art director, Han, like what are you trying to evoke visually with the styling of the characters, the color, the designs, the levels themselves?
Absolutely. Well, as you know, our creative director is Joe Mad, fantastic comic book artist. So really, my mission really is to bring those visuals to the screen and make sure something from 2D goes to 3D and we don't drop a beat. We basically make sure we get that all perfect, exactly how Joe would have imagined it. And yeah, and I think the team's done a fantastic job. I mean,
looks amazing.
Couldn't have done it without that team.
Looks
so.
gorgeous. Well, give the team a big pat on the back for us, and please,
Absolutely.
when will we get our hands on Darksiders 2?
So you can get Darksiders 2 August 14th on a PlayStation, Xbox 360, and the Wii and PC.
Oh, love it. You're basically on anything and everything.
Wherever you get it, you'll get it.
Han, man, thank you so much for sharing it. I appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
And make sure your kids know how damn cool you are and how an amazing job you have. Make sure they know.
Okay, absolutely.
And tell your son to give you back your hoodie. It's very inside, but give him his hoodie back.
Thank you.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there.
Thanks.
E3 may be dominated by big-budget blockbuster titles that rival Hollywood movies, but it is also a place to check out the latest mobile games. Let's send it over to Jessica, who's on the floor with 3 new titles from Square Enix.
I'm here at Square Enix's booth with Brian Green, who's going to give me a quick rundown on all the mobile games they're offering. So what have you got for me?
We have Motley Blocks, and we've got some Quirkle that I want to show you, and also Demon's Soar.
So tell me a little bit about Motley Blocks, because it looked kind of confusing when I first saw it.
The game is basically a pixel-based puzzle game where you're kind of given a picture to look at, you connect the dots of like colors, and you play through, you'll actually be able to form a really cool picture.
What else have we got down the list? What's Quirkle?
Quirkle is actually based on a very famous board game. The premise is to match colors or match shapes. You can play one player with the CPU, or you could even play up to 4 people online. That's going to be on Facebook, it's going to be on Android, and it's also going to be on iOS.
Demon's Soar. Tell me a little bit about this.
It's kind of an action game, kind of a shooter game, but it's also very rhythm-based. It's about a girl, and she's lost her father. He was taken by demons. You play through her vicariously to destroy demons and save your father.
Guys at home, don't forget to fire up those iPhones and Androids. It's time to play some mobile games.
For all of the latest news, be sure to check out G4TV.com for their E312 coverage presented by the all-new Ford Focus ST.
That's a good car and a great website.
It is.
Coming up in just a little bit, we've got a hands-on demo of the all-new, revamped, rejiggered, remade Devil May Cry.
Plus, we are going to hit the floor and drop you into the driver's seat for a look at F1 2012. Find out what to expect in the Formula One racing sim right after this short break.
Oh, hey, hi, how are you? Welcome. E3 is not only about groundbreaking games, but when you have those groundbreaking games, you need groundbreaking accessories to play those games. Hence, the Afterglow 2.0 from PDP. Amazing accessories. Everything's awesomer when you glow. Now get out of here, I got some stuff to do.
You know what's super fun? Launching people in the air and then beating the crap out of them while shooting 2 pistols at them at the same time. And that kind of over-the-top action is a staple of Capcom's long-running Devil May Cry series. Demon Hunter Dante is getting a makeover in the upcoming reboot, and we have got, right here, a hands-on demo. Friends, fans, join me in welcoming producer Alex Jones to our stage. Thank you. They love you, man. They love you.
Feel it.
All right, so what we said in the intro, I think it's important to point out, the new title is getting a reboot.
Yeah, we're calling it here a rebirth. So it's a retelling of Dante's origin story, but it is going back to the beginning. So it is going to be, like I said, like the young Dante finding his way over again.
All right. Now, it'd be rude of me to ignore how pissed off people got when you changed this dude's haircut. It
wouldn't be rude at all.
But now that they've seen the gameplay, clearly this is a Devil May Cry game. What can people expect to see in this? But I know you've shifted the tone as well. So how have you also changed the tonality while giving the players the situation
so
to expect?
first thing is sort of obviously updated visuals. So instead of the more over-the-top, fantastical Gothic art style, there's accents of that, but it's really a more realistic-looking place. Aside the fact that he's playing in the slug chamber right now, promising people. This is that it's a more literally relevant game visually. Obviously, Dante is a more edgier looking character, I guess, in a way, a little less fantastical as well, more human scaled. But mechanically, the game is very consistent with what previous DMCs have been.
Right, and that was very important to you guys to maintain that. But we do live in a world where people have experienced the Devil May Cry series for quite some time now. So how do you update that combat and that gameplay mechanic while still remaining true to what you guys had?
Largely, it was a sense of just deepening it. So what we wanted to do was make sure that the depth was there for hardcore players, but then maybe better than some previous DMCs had, not make the barrier to entry so forbidding for more casual players. So an excessively skill-based input system that has all the depth people want, but doesn't intimidate more casual players as well.
Okay, and is that addressed during various difficulty settings, or does the game kind of figure out where you are?
You have all the difficulty settings that previous DMCs may have. So if you want to crank it up to soul-crushing, have at it.
If you want to hate yourself,
if you want to feel bad, I'm an easy player myself, but a lot of my friends are hardcore, and we have that for you as well.
All right, so some of the things you guys have been rolling out in recent months are these crazy, incredible environments, and as we can see here, extraordinarily odd enemies. What are we looking at on the screen right here? What is this thing?
So this is from about the first third of the game, and it's actually a boss battle. So once again, you'll see some consistency, like a huge scale, very grandiose, over-the-top sort of experience. And Dante is here. She is a demon sub-boss.
Okay.
And a profane one at that.
This isn't even a real boss. This
Well,
is
the real boss is the big uber baddie. This is one of the ones you have to fight to get to the end.
Okay.
So he has come to confront her. She's actually the secret ingredient in a sinister energy drink in the world.
Ah, I like that. Is that a marketing line or is that a real thing?
No, I was right off the top of my head.
I can't wait to play this game that you've created just now for me. And let's talk about where he is exactly. Correct me if I'm wrong, he's in limbo right now?
He's in limbo right now. Actually, believe it or not, in the real world, he's in an actual beverage factory that's been transformed. And this concept of limbo is whenever demons spot Dante, they can pull him into their realm.
Okay.
It's sort of a dystopic mirror image of the real world. And so he gets pulled in there because that's where they can kill him or fight him. And what goes on in Limbo has actual corresponding actions in the real world as well, but they appear like these disasters or that Dante's actually creating himself. So the world thinks Dante is a bad actor or a terrorist, but in reality, he's actually fighting on behalf of people.
Okay, so they can literally just, anywhere he is, they can just move him into this world.
When they spot him, they can pull him in. So most of the game will take place in Limbo because that's where the action is.
Yeah, and demons are dicks, and they want you to be on their level at all times.
Total dick.
And let's talk about his weapons. We have to talk about, obviously, we've seen in the trailers you guys have rolled out, he's shooting guns, he is going to have a sword, but tell us about those weapons and then anything else you care to reveal here on the show today.
So once again, consistency, right? So he's going to have the ebony and ivory, he's going to have his sword, the rebellion. In addition, though, we've made a slight change to his heritage. He has an angel and demon side now, and he has powers that partake of either side of him. So you'll see if WoW sort of plays, he'll be able to angel lift himself and swing to other platforms. He can also use that to pull himself to enemies and create lots of combat opportunities as a result of that. He can have a demon, corresponding demon behavior, which can pull things toward him. And you can use these to change the world, to traverse the world, and as well as combat too. So it gives you an almost unimaginable set of combos that you can make if you employ these in imaginative ways.
And that's such an interesting mechanic. Are you going to be able to use those and apply them to puzzle scenarios as well? Is that strictly a
There's
combat?
some light puzzling, and this does come into play for that, particularly when you're manipulating the environment. It's pretty necessary for that.
All right. But at the end of the day, use it to kill things in great ways.
Mostly you use it to kill things in great and inventive, stylish ways.
I love that, man. So when can people expect to play this game?
We're January 15th, 2013.
All right, man. We're looking forward to it. Alex, thank you so much for stopping by, man. Game looks great.
Listen, I don't know how much it costs to actually buy a Formula One race car.
A lot.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's probably not worth the trouble.
No, it makes racing sims a good cost-saving alternative. Kristen Adams grabbed the wheel of F1 2012, and here is her floor report.
champion, but you just don't have the wheels? Well, you can scratch that racing itch in F1 2012. Gentlemen, start your engines! Tell me what F1 2012 is about.
Well, Formula One is based on the biggest motorsport in the world, Formula One series, which goes across the world, and this year comes back to America. If you're watching it on TV, basically you're buying the game because you want to recreate what your heroes in the sport are doing, you want to drive around the same circuits, and because it's officially licensed, it's all completely accurate.
And you mentioned you can race on 20 different circuits in the game?
20 different circuits, yeah.
And the circuits are true to life?
Absolutely true to life, yeah. I mean, in actual fact, we went to Abu Dhabi last November. There's something called the Young Drivers Test, which is in the game this year. It's actually where the teams get to try really young guys out. And one guy said he'd bought our game the year previous to practice the track before he had his race. And he said when he turned up, he'd never driven the circuit, played it in our game, he won the race. And that was just amazing to hear.
Are you getting a good response from it here?
Day one, it's been massively popular, yeah.
What's the release date, platforms, and title this is available on?
Our 2012 game launches in September this year. We do Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 and PC.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for educating us on the world of Formula One.
My pleasure. Thanks very much.
Listen, if you leave now, you're an E3 quitter, and no one likes a quitter. That was aggressive, I'm sorry.
It's true, though.
You can quit, but I wouldn't, because after the break, we got some FaceTime with Grant Bowler, the star of Defiance, which is equal parts TV show and MMO.
Plus, a demo of the Xbox 360 exclusive Forza Horizon. If you like driving fast and obsessing over cars you can't afford, this game is for you. We'll be right back.
G4's live coverage of E3 2012 is brought to you by GameFly, the best way to rent and buy games.
The cool thing about gaming, young or old, retro or new, everybody loves it. So I'm gonna get my Pac-Man on right now. So you guys move because we've got so much more coming up from E3 on G4. Let's do this.
It is incredibly difficult to launch a new TV series and probably even harder to launch an MMO, but to do both at the same time, well, that is madness.
Insanity, but it's happening. Defiance is a new show coming to Sci-Fi this fall, and we've got its companion MMO right now. So let's get some FaceTime.
All right. Joining us now is star of Defiance, Grant Bowler, and the president of Sci-Fi, Dave Howe. Welcome so much.
Pleasure
Thanks
to have
for
you
being
both
here.
Thanks for being here.
Okay, so Defiance is an MMO and a TV show. How does that work together?
Well, what we've tried to do for the first time ever, in fact, what Dave's tried to do for the first time ever, is synthesize the two media completely. You've seen in the past movies made of games, games made of movies, but they're a very disparate event, right? One what happens and then the other happens. What we're trying to do this time is to create a total immersive synthesis where both occur at the same time.
It's basically one world, but two ways in, through the game or through the TV show and the interaction between the two.
Now, Dave, when you greenlit this, did someone explain to you that this is ambitious and it is damn near impossible?
They did. A lot of people tried to talk us out of it because no one's done it before. To Grant's point, it's a long-term commitment. So it's taken us 4 years since we closed the deal with Tryon, and you know it's going to actually be state-of-the-art, and it's going to be groundbreaking in terms of it's a revolution in storytelling, which is how we like to think of it.
What made you feel like this was it? This was the project? Like 4 years ago, what made you go, okay, this is the one, we're going to take that risk
I
on?
think everybody's talked about, you know, what this thing called convergence and the screens coming together. What is unique about this is it is a set of characters and a storyline that was co-developed and co-created and will co-launch. So it wasn't a game that was developed independently and a TV series independently. This is two teams working together, and they'll seamlessly look and feel the same. And that's what's unique and amazing about it.
And where did the story and the concept actually come from? Did it come from Tryon or did it come from Sci-Fi?
The mythology was built. We've had two teams working together. So the mythology was created between the two teams. So everything was jointly figured out in terms of all the characters, the storyline, how it kind of rolls out. And that I think no one again has done before.
But they don't actually take place in the same location.
Sorry?
They don't necessarily take place in the same location, right? They're in two different cities.
They occur in the same universe,
right.
the same world, but they occur in 2 different cities. So that's how we create our buffer, if you like, between the game universe and the show universe. But they're close enough together that events in one can influence the other and back again. So
maybe on the video game side of thing, you get a little bit of extra story to an event that you're watching on the TV side of things.
So the game is set in San Francisco, so you can kind of live and breathe in San Francisco, and then the TV series is set in St. Louis. But it's the same world, it's the same kind of species and characters, and it's the same look and feel. So that's how it works.
And most importantly, it's the same timeline. These 2 things, that the intention of putting these 2 media together is to actually create a simultaneous timeline across both.
And the characters will switch. So Grant actually starts in the game and then switches to the TV series 2 weeks later.
Well,
so characters will go back and forth between the TV series.
And Grant, who
game.
plays you in the game? Did you get to pick out the actor?
I got to do me in
That's
the
what
game.
I love, is that everybody that's involved really gets to play themselves.
But you know what's amazing about doing the game is I'm so sick of seeing myself on television on screen. But these guys at Tryon, all I did was move around a little bit with some dots and a scuba suit on.
Yep.
And then I talked a bit into a microphone, and they ran away, and they created this whole thing.
Right. Suddenly you're an action hero that's doing barrel rolls and taking down.
It's such a creative process. It's so freeing to do the motion capture stuff. I loved it.
And he looks amazing in the game. Literally so lifelike. It's almost as though he's sitting here in the game.
I thought you might have been a hologram like Tupac at Coachella. I didn't know for a second if it was virtual Grant or real you.
I've got my hands full now. I literally simultaneously exist in 2 places at the one time.
Perfect.
3, here, on TV, and in the game
world.
So let's talk a little bit about the game itself. It's not your typical MMO where you're kind of hitting 1 and 2 and kind of making macros and crafting and doing combos. What kind of game is it actually?
Well, you're looking at a first-person shooter. Third-person shooter.
Right.
And it's, because of the universe that's been created with the new mythology, what happens is you can choose your character from a variety of races. And the backstory of Defiance, well, I'll give that to you. I mean, the world that you're entering as a gamer.
Yeah, the mythology is kind of pre-set up, so you join it as an Ark hunter. So the deal is the Earth has been terraformed, it's in the near future, and these alien Arks have crashed onto the Earth, and then there are these various pockets of civilizations around the globe which are human and alien. So you get to choose who you want to be, and you get to kind of join the fight in the sense that these races are fighting with each other, the humans are fighting with them. So it's a kind of a rough and tumble world. And Defiance, the town, is basically the new frontier town. So it's where everybody comes together and they're trying to get along together. So it's like an immigrant drama amongst these various species. So it's a very cool concept.
Okay, so we've waited a long time for this. You guys have obviously been working on both the show and the MMO for a long time. When is it actually going to come out, and when can people start watching?
April 2013 is when we're going to launch them both together. April 2013, April of next year.
All right, and Dave, real quick, the promise of this type of convergence between the interactive and the linear experience, it's been promised for years. I know this has been in development for years. Do you think from here on out, like, is this the catalyst? Is this what we're going to see? The future of properties, they have to be simultaneous, and then the iPad version as well? And
I think this is the blueprint in terms of co-developing and co-creating something and having a TV team and a gaming team work together. So it's like, we've learned a lot about video gaming, and the gaming team's learned about character drama and development and all of that stuff. So going forward, we've figured out a way to work that can be a model for anybody else to do this kind of thing.
It's incredibly ambitious, but it looks like you guys are poised to pull it off, so thank you for sharing it. I can't wait to play it personally, so thank you guys very much.
Thank
really
you.
Appreciate it. Grant and Dave.
Hey, we're having fun here at E3 right now.
You're doing good, Candace.
Are we having fun? G4's American Ninja Warrior pits athletes from around the country against the world's toughest obstacle course. Even the strongest women will fall victim to the course.
G4 presents American Ninja Warrior.
Our next competitor is 37-year-old Selena Laniel. She's a single mom, and her 2 biggest fans, her daughters, are right there on the sidelines to cheer her on.
Mom, you got this!
And keep in mind, no female in Ninja Warrior history has ever beaten this course. Selena taking a cautious approach through the quad steps.
That's plenty of time.
A little fireman scary here on the log rip, and she holds on.
Excellent performance to this point.
Oh! Well, that's another way to get across.
Yeah, that's a clock killer, but she's still alive. Something tells me Selena can get a boost off of that thing.
It looked like Her legs buckled a little bit.
Oh, close.
This sucks.
Now I'm dancing like you just saw that. Who's going to emerge from the semifinals and move one step closer to our tiny little purse of $500,000? Find out this Sunday night at 9 o'clock on G4.
Go to facebook.com/Ninja Warrior for exclusive clips, interviews, and more.
And coming up after the break, a game that can simply be described as car pornography.
Oh, I like it.
It's dirty, it's filthy, it's so nasty it's illegal in Missouri. Car porn.
Nice.
There's nothing illegal in Missouri. You're welcome. Forza Horizon, on the way.
Plus, one of gaming's most loved fantasy franchises is finally heading online. We will have a world premiere look at the Elder Scrolls Online and more right after this.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm here at the Ford Focus ST Rally Club with the G4 X-Play car. It is turbocharged and has enhanced torque vectory, so it can get you and your family of gamers to E3 fast. Yeah. My family. Brothers, cousin, aunts. Bye. Bye, guys. Yes. Okay, enjoy the show.
Okay, if you've got an Xbox 360 and a true passion for automobiles, then without question, the Forza series is for you. The next installment of the franchise is due later in the year, and you'll actually be taking the open road in a whole new way. Let's go hands-on with Forza Horizon. Joining us now on E3 for the 7,000th time, it seems, Dan Greenwald. He's a creative director at Turn 10 Studios. Dan, thank you so much for being here, sir.
Thank you, of course.
Really, really appreciate it. Again, I feel like we've talked about this game so much, you and I, over the last couple of E3s.
It's true.
Forza Horizon specifically, though, it's actually a spin-off of Forza Motorsport, right? So what does that mean in terms of where the game lies in the series and for fans of Forza Motorsport?
Well, you know, Forza Horizon is a new expression of the Forza franchise. To date, Forza's been known for all of its great authenticity, simulation physics, and approachability, tons of cars, right? But for us, the goal's always been turn gamers into car lovers and car lovers into gamers. It's all about passion. Passion for cars and passion for games. So now we're working with a new partner to have that new expression, and that is Forza Horizon. And it does bring you that Forza authenticity on the open road, set with its cool music and automotive festival.
Right, as we can see here, this is very much an open road game. What are we looking at right now on the screen here? What are the people at home seeing?
So right now, what you can see actually is an open road through an original version of Colorado. You know, Colorado was chosen because of its great diversity. You've got the red rocks up in the north, you've got reservoirs with beautiful water, you've got aspen forests, you've got small towns. I mean, Colorado's fantastic. So what we try to do is have the greatest driving roads in the world baked into this open world area that you can explore and just find out for yourself what's going on.
So I imagine when you were planning an open road game, you didn't say, hey guys, I only want to travel in the United States. I'm sure you said, I think it makes sense for you to send me to other countries so I can take photographs and drive these roads as well. So what other countries did you travel to quote, research this game?
Well, actually, you know, the interesting thing is the whole thing started off with the festival.
Okay.
The idea was, look, our goal is to actually get people into cars. And so what better way than to use their passion for music and summer music festivals to kind of get them to think about cars in a new way. So it all started with the festival. We then knew it had to be open world, so we researched 30 different locations around the world, and we were looking for the one location that had the right diversity of terrain, would be great for a Summit Music Festival, and we landed on Colorado.
Right, and let's talk about the cars in the game again. One of the hallmarks of this series, just these incredible cars, and the level of customization that you guys allow to these cars that people already love. So let's talk about the cars, and then what people can actually do to them.
Well, you know, Forza, you're right, has always been known for a great car collection.
Sure.
But this one has been, the way you actually select cars has been kind of changed. This is about what cars would you take to a music festival. You know, cars that really show off your style, but also, this world has off-road. There are over 65 different surface types, gravel, dirt, off-road, and the like. So what are the cars you'd want to race off-road? So we've got, you know, like the Mitsubishi Evo, of course the 2013 Viper, which is all new. We've got it in our booth. I've got a car crush on that right now. I love that car.
And a key in your pocket. Is that a key in your pocket, or are you just really happy? No? Okay, let's move on from that. And then the customization as well. Like when you tell me I can make a car that I drive to a festival, I think I'm going to take the Viper, but I want to put a trunk so I can have a keg and an inflatable couch in the back of it. Can you do that in this game?
All right, no kegs. You got me on that one. But, you know, for fans of the Forza series, Forza 3, Forza 4, we have the importer for the layer groups. So you can actually, if you played the game, you can import your groups from before. We have the livery editor, of course. Upgrades, you can upgrade your car so you can make a Ford Focus more competitive with, you know, a BMW.
Now, are the car physics different in this game? I mean, you know, the Forza Motorsport series, the cars handle so well, but you are dealing with different environments that you guys have dealt with in the past, so did you have to change up the physics? Did you build that engine from the ground up there?
Well, you know, I've been asked a lot this E3 about arcade, sim, and to me, that's an outdated notion. Because for us, it's about authenticity, about reality, and approachability. So we want to make an open world game where you can just pick it up and play and have a great time. And we're calling that action racing. So yeah, you can weave through traffic, you can smash through fences, you can explore farms, but it's not arcadey because arcade games, all the cars feel the same. That's just not Forza. We need a Viper to feel very unique so you can feel the weight moving around. And on top of it, arcade games are often, the car's a weapon.
Sure.
You know, it's combative. And this is about celebrating cars, so we don't want to use the car that way. So of course, the foundation, 100% Forza physics, totally authentic, totally real. We got a lot of assists that make it so you can easily pick them up and play. You love Forza, turn them off.
And important to clarify, authentic to not only the Forza feel, but to each car's authentic drive feel as well.
Absolutely, you know, so you got this Viper, you know, 500 plus horse, no, 600 plus horsepower, rear-wheel drive. The thing is just crazy. And then if you're in, you know, an all-wheel drive Mitsubishi Evo, we need it to feel really, really different and unique, and that's just not something that's been captured in the past in an arcadey open-world game.
Well, unfortunately, you know, I wish that we could talk about this forever because I love cars so much. Quickly, I just want to touch on, do they have a multiplayer component in this game?
Absolutely. So multiplayer is a core aspect of Forza Motorsport. Forza Horizon as well. Now it's in an open world. Imagine cat and mouse, tag, virus, and the like on a golf course in an open world. It just makes more sense.
That sounds awesome. So when can people expect to play this game by themselves and with their friends?
October 23rd, Xbox 360.
Very cool, man. Thank you so much for dropping the game by.
Thank you.
Big round of applause for Dan here.
Coming up, the Elder Scrolls series is finally expanding into multiplayer and in the biggest way possible. We're going to have world premiere gameplay of the new MMO, the Elder Scrolls Online.
Plus, grab a friend because we'll go hands-on with the co-op focused Disney epic Mickey 2, The Power of Two.
Yes.
All that and more right after this.
G4's live coverage of E3 2012 is brought to you by the all-new Ford Focus ST.
Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim are all outstanding open-world fantasy adventures that you could sink hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours into. However, they are all solitary experiences. You won't find online play in the Elder Scrolls universe until now. It is time for a world premiere look at the new MMO, the Elder Scrolls Online. I am so excited to welcome here to the stage creative director Paul Sage. Suffice it to say that we are all incredibly excited about this. So let's dive into it. Where and when does this game take place?
So this game takes place 1,000 years before Skyrim, and actually it takes place before an emperor has actually risen to take on the empire. So this is a place where it's a little bit chaotic. There's a lot of factions fighting for control, so players get to choose to be in a faction in the game.
How many factions are we going to be able to choose from?
So you'll be able to choose from 3 factions. We have the All-Merry Dominion, we have the Daggerfall Covenant, and also there is the Ebonheart Pact, which is made up of the Dark Elves, the Nords, and the Argonians. So you get to play all the races.
I like it. Okay, so right now we're actually looking at some footage from the game. What are we looking at right here?
So what you're seeing now is Daggerfall. So Daggerfall, you haven't seen probably in 15 or 20 years. So you can see that all of our environments are handcrafted. The art style is just amazing. It's been fun to actually take on these environments that span the breadth of Tamriel that players haven't seen in a long time.
So for an MMO, you have to create a gigantic world. You're like, I know this already.
Yes.
I mean, how are you approaching that?
So the world it's one of those things where, again, there's a lot of environments. So it's the breadth of Tamriel. So what we're doing is we do a lot of research into the lore, making sure that players have locations that they've seen before, and also locations they haven't seen. So it's a lot of lore and just a lot of love going into each location.
Okay, a huge part about Skyrim, for example, was the level of customization that you can do for your character. Are you going to kind of have that same level of depth in this game?
Absolutely. So the level of customization that we've got expresses itself in a lot of ways. There can be choice in quests as part of it, and things that you'll find during quests that'll actually affect the way your character grows in the game. But not only that, your character and specifically has abilities that they have, and so you'll slot your abilities as you decide, this is something important, this is something I want to do. And so the level of customization is really high for not just your start, but actually how you play and how you progress the game.
Is it kind of going to go to the Skyrim model where you don't necessarily have to pick everything from the very beginning?
Yeah, you'll get to pick, it is a class-based game, so you get to pick your class, but then you'll grow into the abilities that you want, and there'll be things that you get to do, like we'll have a perk system. That is something, maybe there might be turning into a werewolf or a vampire or something that comes out that way. So it's a lot of fun.
So let's talk about leveling up and that kind of thing. How is that going to progress?
So as you level up in the game, you'll have let's say the abilities that we've talked about before. So you'll have a selection of, this is the ability that's important to me, this is the one I want, and so you'll get that ability, and then, as I said before, you'll gain expertise in that ability. So you really end up growing your character the way you want. You actually get to play the game the way you want to play.
Okay, so let's talk actually about gameplay, since we're talking about playing the game. What is it? Are we talking about real time? Are we talking about, are we hitting buttons? Are we making macros? Like, what's the general overview idea of this?
So combat's one of the big things for us. So we've taken away a lot of the interface elements that are pretty common in a lot of online games, and we've made it so you're actually looking into the world. The world is beautiful and we want you to play it. But more than that, we want combat to feel active and reactive. So we have things like block that you have in Skyrim, and we have these things like you can crouch anytime, you can sneak, you can sprint. And all of these little mechanics actually tie up to things that the AI does. So an AI might, or an enemy might, throw down oil in front of you, and you have to decide, okay, I've got to move out of this oil because he's got a fire mage friend right behind him that'll light it on fire. So our AI works together to, defeat the player, and the players also get to work together. So they have abilities that work the same way. You set another player up, you'll throw a firestorm out, and another player will run in and be able to enhance that ability. It's really fun because it creates what we're calling synergy abilities in the game.
Now, are we going to see your traditional class archetypes, like you have a tank or a glass cannon and a healer and that kind of thing?
So you could potentially play that way, but that's not what we're going for. We're actually going to where you can customize the character for situational things, like, okay, this is the way I want to approach 3 different enemies, and oh, there's a different 3 enemies here. So I'm going to customize my class and my character the way I want to. So there's also going to be no restrictions. If you don't have a healer in your party, for instance, it's not going to penalize you. You're going to be able to play. You're going to be able to play the way you want to play.
All right. Are there going to be dragons?
At this time, since we're sticking to the lore, there are no dragons in the second era. Or, well, there are.
Okay, fine. That's an excellent point. Okay, so I think what everybody really wants to know is, when are we going to be able to start taking arrows to the knee?
We're going to do that in 2013.
2013! I can't possibly wait that long, but thank you so much for coming by. I really appreciate it. I'm crushing my card in ink.
There's one word that the video game industry places the most importance on than any other. It's not sales. No, it causes people to decide which console is the one for them. The word is exclusive. But are console exclusive titles a bad thing? It's time for a Kit Kat news break. Joining me now, Polygon co-founder Brian Crescenti is here, and Shack News editorial director Garnett Lee. Hello, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no, thank you for being here.
Yeah,
Let's talk about it. The idea of the console wars, obviously that exists, but to me, the best weapon in the arsenal was always the exclusive, right? If you're an Uncharted guy, you got to go PS3. If you love Master Chief, you got to go Xbox. Are those days going away?
I think they are. I think that at least temporarily they're going away. I don't think exclusives are going away, but I think what we're seeing now is a lot more exclusives that are DLC, because that's it's a better opportunity for the developers. They can get their game out to everybody, and they can still sort of get those exclusives out there through DLC content. So it allows them to sort of get the best of both worlds.
I'd say on the other hand, if you look at what happened at the press conferences, you had Sony bookending with Beyond and then Last of Us, two games that really highlight what they do best from their software department, not their hardware department. And I think that's kind of the thing, is we need to uncouple the hardware manufacturing and the software manufacturing, because it's gotten very expensive to do these exclusives. And we see that now in digital distribution. So you've got the Xbox Live Arcade games, and you've got the PSN games, and those, I think, are the real new exclusives that people will gravitate to.
Well, that's what always gets me excited, is seeing what a small developer with a small, creative, passionate team has done, and 9 times out of 10, those are exclusive for those networks. So is that where we're going, where maybe because there's so much budget on the line for a AAA title, you have to hedge your bets and get it on as many consoles as you can? So are we going to see the larger budget titles going that way, and then the smaller, the DLCs and the indie games of the world, those are going as exclusives?
I mean, look, if you're making an Assassin's Creed, you need to be able to get it into everybody's hands. But if you're a breakaway team, a few $100,000 can make a huge difference. That can make your game for you, and you can do an unfinished Swan and really catch everyone's attention.
Right. Well, and the reality is, you look at things like the PlayStation Pub Fund, where they're actively going out, trying to find talent and bring them in, and that's the sort of DLC, I'm sorry, the sort of exclusives that I think the industry needs, because it helps developers and it helps gamers, because they find games that maybe they would have never seen if they hadn't been sought out and brought on.
Well, now how is Nintendo disrupting this? Because now they've got their Wii U and they're trying to say, hey, look, this console finally has the capabilities where you can port these titles over to the Wii U or make a unique experience for it. Do you think developers are going to flock to that, or are we going to see a Wii experience where at first everybody embraces it and then it quickly becomes the dumping ground for some shovelware?
Well, I don't think it was an accident that Batman was the big game you saw there, because that is the poster game right now for the Unreal Engine. And it really shows off, hey, look, you can do Unreal Engine on Wii U, and it looks fantastic, and you can add tablet into that as well. So developer, you can do something unique, but use an engine you know how to use.
That's an engine that exists today for the current gen consoles. Next year, maybe we'll be talking about the next gen of consoles. Will developers that are making exclusives for that, are they gonna, I mean, if they're doing a multi-platform title, are they gonna try to make that Wii U version as well?
I mean, my theory, complete guesswork here, but my theory is that when they come out with the next gen consoles, I think we are gonna see a little bit of a sort of a reset of the clock, and we'll see a lot more exclusives for a lot of reasons. First off, you have developers who want to perhaps concentrate on working on the new platform and the tech of that platform, and they really want to nail it and make sure they get it right.
Certainly.
So I could see that driving more exclusives, and there's more opportunity there, because if you have an exclusive on a next-gen console when it first comes out, you know, that could help a lot.
You got attachment rates are always higher at first, and it always takes a little while to figure out how to get your tech cross-platform. So, all right, gentlemen, thank you so much for the conversation. Appreciate it, Brian and Garnett. Thank you, guys.
Kevin.
Thanks. Now we're gonna send it over to Blair.
That was a lot of smart stuff said right there. Defiance, you saw it on the show already. It debuts on Sci-Fi in April of 2013. And with it, of course, comes an MMO that plays a very integral role in the series. Both the game and the show actually coexist and tie into each other, rather than just acting as separate adaptations, which we see in so many other properties. And Jessica is on the floor with more.
At the Defiance booth with Nick Goliath. We're talking tunes, epic tunes of bear-like proportions. Now, can you tell me a little bit about the involvement and the buzz that's surrounding both the game and the TV show?
We're super excited to be working with Bear. Fans will remember him from Battlestar Galactica. He's currently scoring The Walking Dead, and we're pleased as punch to have him working on Defiance. He gets the challenge of working on an adaptive score for the game, where the music changes based upon what the player's doing and really helps add to the immersiveness of what's going on screen, and then the more traditional soundtrack of the television show. Additionally, he's playing a lot with the instrumentation of the game, so it's what instruments do aliens have, what do they sound like, and developing a score that really captures this blending of human and alien civilization, and seeing how it manifests on screen. There's 7 different alien races, so he has a really broad spectrum to play with.
Awesome, well thank you very much, sir. Guys, Defiance, the TV show and the game, keep your eyes peeled for it. It sounds pretty damn amazing. I got a fever, and the only cure is more Twitter wall.
Thank you. Thank you. I know that was so good. Let's see. We got No Name Steve. So excited for Elder Scrolls Online. Finally, a multiplayer game in the Elder Scrolls. And Taylor 9.0, MMOs are my absolute favorite type of game. World of Warcraft, Diablo 3, The Old Republic, and now Defiance and Elder Scrolls Online. Dear God, how do you have so much time? But more power to you. Now, if you'd like to win a console, just head to g4tv.com/E3 sweeps. Aruda did and just scored a Nintendo 3DS. Congrats! So if you're feeling lucky and you want a shot of winning some stuff, remember to visit g4tv.com/E3 sweeps and tweet using the hashtag E3OnG4. It is that easy. Now, in the next hour, we will be giving away an Xbox 360, so keep them coming.
I have been walking around this area waiting for this camera. Coming up in the next hour, we've got more hands-on demos on the way, including Disney Epic Mickey 2, The Power of 2. Plus, Sam Fisher is back and deadlier than ever. And Splinter Cell Blacklist. We'll have more from E3 right after this.
G4's live coverage of E3 2012 is brought to you by Kit Kat Bars. Break time, anytime.
Whoa, extreme camera angles
It's
to welcome
moving.
you. Back to E3 12 Live. Our marathon of game demos is far from over. If we bail now, we lose our deposit.
Very true.
We're here.
Coming up on this hour, we're going to go hands-on with Splinter Cell Blacklist, which was a hit at the Microsoft press conference because people like people being murdered. We've discovered
Yeah,
that
pretty much chin stabbing mostly.
Yes.
Plus, the people behind the Burnout series are reviving another EA racing series. We're going to go hands-on with Need for Speed Most Wanted.
And later, the biggest surprise announcement of E3 is here. Kevin Ferreira is pregnant.
Hey, oh my God! And you're the father! Congratulations,
That is
Claire.
a surprise. No, no, no. We're talking about Watch Dogs. We're talking about Watch Dogs.
All right, I'm still Prager's though, just so you know. It's my glow. But first, let's send it over to former Mouseketeers, Morgan and Candace.
Boys, y'all are so silly. So
I
silly.
actually would believe it you were a Mouseketeer if you told me that. I would totally believe it.
I know.
Me, I'm a little too angry. Disney, not right now.
You're not angry. You're a very happy person.
Say it again. Disney Epic Mickey was a Wii exclusive, which means Xbox and PS3 owners were left in the cold. But that will not be the case with the sequel, which is coming to our beautiful high-def consoles.
And that means the stylish visuals will look even better. Let's go hands-on with Disney Epic Mickey 2 and The Power of 2.
I psyched you out, didn't I?
You did. You made me nervous. Just don't hurt me, okay?
Joining us now is designer, the man himself, Warren Spector. We're very honored to have you here on our stand.
Hello, welcome.
Okay, so what is Mickey up to in the sequel?
Well, he's back in Wasteland because the world needs him again. Looked like things were great at the end of the first game, but you know, it's a game, so there has to be a problem to solve, right? And there's one that only Mickey can deal with.
So how does he get pulled back in?
Well, Gus the Gremlin creates a television that allows him to communicate with the cartoon world, and he pulls Mickey back in through this television to help Oswald solve a big mystery in this world.
Now, what exactly are we seeing here right now?
Well, this is part of our training level. It's set in Yen Sid's workshop. Yen Sid, the sorcerer from Fantasia. And we're teaching players how to move, how to use paint and thinner. That's the heart of the game, right? Mickey draws and erases using his magic brush.
So the basic mechanics or the basic idea of the game has remained the same.
Yeah, that's the fundamental thing is I wanted to make a game where players dynamically change the world as they play, and their experience and the story changes based on how they're, drawing things or erasing them.
So, right, so let's see, and of course there's platforming, gotta have the platforming. So what are we looking at right now?
This is a part of Yen Sid's workshop that we actually created. It's kind of a magical place where we're teaching you how to paint in a path of magical stones.
This is kind of amazing. I love it.
Well, the real magic stuff is when you screw up. It's a training level, so if you fall off this path that you're creating as you go, the world magically rises up to catch you. I don't know if we want our demo driver to fail right now, but I'll tell you, if you play the demo, try it. It's really cool.
I like the idea of the arms of the earth coming up to embrace me and save me from my fall.
I wish I could take credit for it, but one of our designers actually came up with the idea, and when I saw it, I just went, yes, oh my God.
That's amazing.
Okay, so now let's talk about the voice acting actually in the game.
You know, one of the big new things we're doing this time, in addition to being on every platform you can imagine, is giving every character a voice. So when you hear Mickey Mouse talk, I was going to say it's really Mickey Mouse. That doesn't sound quite right, does it?
It's really Mickey.
It's really Mickey.
I heard his day rate was astronomical. That is amazing. That's a real Mickey.
But the cool thing is, a video game has now given voice to Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, Walt's first star, first time in history. So we're not just honoring Disney's past, a video game is creating new characters and contributing to Disney's future. It's really remarkable.
I can tell that really excites you.
Oh, come on. I mean, like Disney's been around forever and touched all of us. To be able to create something new for that world, I mean,
Right.
Oswald's voice, Gus the Gremlin's voice, Carrie Elwes is doing the voice of Gus. I mean, we've given all these characters their personalities and done something all new. It's great.
Speaking of Mickey, I love your shirt that you have on right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, I probably shouldn't say this, but I have over 50 of these things at home.
Do you really?
I am the total bring color to the world guy now. But on my Facebook page, I put pictures up of all of my shirts, and I let people vote on which shirt I should wear every day at
That's
E3.
awesome. This right here is the true passion that brings together a great Mickey game.
Right? Now, when is it going to hit stores?
Disney Epic Mickey 2, The Power of Two, all platforms, November 18th. An important date in Disney history. We'll let people figure out what it means for themselves.
Ooh, I do love a teaser. Thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you so much for coming by. Nice to meet you.
Oh, Warren brings the whimsy. Thank you, guys. Now, coming into E3, the biggest question, it really had to be the Wii U in general. I mean, the console's launch is due later this year. We were all wondering what Nintendo had up their sleeves. It turns out there's a redesigned controller, there's a serious commitment to online connectivity, and a few other surprises. Matt's got the latest in this floor report.
Hey, check it out. We are here at E3 this year, and Nintendo is back with the Wii U. And we got Gil here to tell us a little bit about how the controller actually works.
It's a whole new experience, and it works seamlessly with a second screen.
So what are we playing right now?
We're playing a new Super Mario Bros. U.
Okay.
And right now you can actually see the game action that's on the gamepad controller. And with this, I'm actually playing a special mode called Boost Mode. I can actually touch the screen. It does have touchscreen features, and help assist her as she plays through the game.
Oh, that's fantastic. So you can put obstacles for Mario to jump over or assist him in running.
Totally. Or I could just be a meanie and just kind of put up a wall like that.
The Wii U is going to launch when?
It's this holiday. We have lots of titles, and this is going to be one of those launch window titles.
Fantastic.
So super excited. We're going to have a Mario game right out the gate.
Okay, so Nintendo is bringing us a new console with a Wii U gamepad, ladies and gentlemen. The teamwork, a second screen, a whole other way to look at video games from Nintendo.
Saving money for new Super Mario Bros. Wii starts right now. Next week, the biggest and the best games of all time are battling it out on G4. We'll probably see Mario Brothers in there somewhere. We're counting down the top 100 video games of all time in 5 one-hour specials. Will your favorite game make the cut? Take a look.
Next on our countdown, if you played the Atari 2600, you recognize this sound.
Oh my God, Pitfall.
Pitfall was awesome.
Strange fun fact, my first paid gig for acting was a commercial for a Pitfall. I had a safari hat on. I was like, just last night I was lost in the jungle with Pitfall Harry.
Pitfall hit the Atari 2600 in 1982 and was an instant smash.
Pitfall is incredible.
I remember as a kid just being like, oh my God.
It's right when home video games started creating people out of like 4 squares.
I'm a stick guy, and you can see that I have a green shirt and brown pants and shoes.
These 8-bit blocks had us all duped in the 80s to thinking that we were Indiana Jones.
Video games have come a long way. Find out which titles are the favorites of G4 experts, celebrities, as you saw there, athletes, and game developers when they weigh in during the week-long battle starting Monday at 8 o'clock. Just check out g4tv.com/top100. Stick around, we have got so much more from E3 on the way, including the return of Sam Fisher and Splinter Cell Blacklight. Plus, we're gonna go hands-on with the game that embraces America's favorite pastime, running from the cops. Get your first look at the new Need for Speed Most Wanted in just a little bit.
G4's live coverage of E3 2012 is brought to you by the all-new Ford Focus ST.
I'm on the E3 floor at the Nintendo booth, checking out the Wii U and playing a little Just Dance 4. And I heard something cool was gonna happen here, but I don't really... Oh. Oh, hey. Okay.
All right, perhaps the biggest crowd response at Microsoft's press event happened right after Splinter Cell Blacklist was finally unveiled.
There's so many people on Twitter. Did you see what just happened there?
Oh my God, hashtag.
Yeah, so in case you didn't see it, Sam Fisher wrecks terrorist scum in his latest adventure, and this time you're actually going to help direct the action with the use of Kinect voice support, which makes me feel so empowered, and I truly appreciate that option. So let's go hands-on.
Joining us now is creative director Max Bellon, everybody.
Yes.
How are you, sir?
Max, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Is it safe to say that you enjoyed the reaction that this game had after the presser?
It was amazing. I mean, just being on stage, you know, representing all the team at Ubisoft Toronto, it was just amazing. And
well, you've been carrying that entire team on your shoulders for so long.
Sure, I mean, nobody deserves the credit but you, correct?
I don't agree with that.
You're too kind to be on the stage, Max. But let's hop into it. Splinter Cell Blacklist, the 6th title in the series. How do you keep it fresh? What's new in this title?
Well, I think what's interesting with Blacklist is really our premise, right? So it's a series of, it's like basically a group of terrorists that band together, a group of rogue nations that band together and give an ultimatum to the United States. Take your troops out of our countries or we bring war to you, right? So they released the Blacklist, a series of escalating attacks on US interests. And they're like, if you're not out, we're doing this. If you're not out, we're doing that.
Wow.
And then the president contacts Sam and she's like, I need your help because I don't want to go at war against them and I'm not going to negotiate with them either. So Sam accepts to restart Fort Echelon, to be the leader, right, and to stop the Blacklist.
So he stopped shaving.
That is some heavy stuff, man.
I know, man.
Whatever happened to the princess being in a castle? Now it's like rogue nations have given you a blacklist and you're screwed.
Well, I think it's the premise came from talking with Richard Dansky, our writer, and we were talking and he told me that the United States have soldiers in 2/3 of the countries in the world. And that's kind of, wow.
That's actually,
yeah, we have bases everywhere.
Yeah, and we were just educated on that as well. Wow, that was really impressive. Thank you for that knowledge. And scary for other countries that we know that now. But that's crazy, and you know, you guys are going to visit a lot of those other environments. Like you said, we're in arguably, you know, 66% of the rest of the world. But we're seeing here in these new environments, not as many shadows. So Sammy Fish, which is what I call him because I've played with him as long as I have.
Fish Dog.
Fish Dog as well. He can't really hide in the shadows as much. So it looks like his tactics are changing quite a bit here.
Well, a big thing for us on Blacklist is variety. It's probably the word I've said the most since I moved to Toronto, and we're applying that to everything. So we wanna keep things fresh for the player. So we're gonna have some maps that are more interior, more exterior. Some maps are gonna be more daylight, nighttime, right? We want to keep it fresh, keep the player always surprised.
Yeah, it's hard to shoot out the sun in these maps. That's for sure. What are we actually seeing here, Max?
Well, that's what we call killing in motion. So it's basically a couple of features that Mike is able to pull off together.
Beautiful.
So the first one is active sprint, which is pressing an all day and moving forward, and then Sam traverses the environment, he jumps over stuff automatically. If there's something to climb, he climbs. And then there's mark and execute in motion. So conviction and mark and execute, now we've made it in motion. So instead of stopping and taking out the bad guys and then continuing Sam's motion, he can do it like continuing.
So how does it work? We hold a button, we're sprinting, and then as we're going, we're tagging
and
targets?
if you're keeping your thumbstick forward, Sam continues to go that way while he's taking out targets. And the last thing is hand-to-hand kills in motion also, right? So instead of stopping, we're doing that. And we're trying to show Sam as a guy that's always one step ahead, right? So he's not, if he's got a guy in his hands, he doesn't need to look at him to take him out, right? He's already looking at his next target.
Yeah, he's already made that decision. This guy's done. So let's just assume for a second that Sam gets tired of killing enemies through traditional means, because he's killed so many people in that manner. Right. He has a bunch of awesome gadgets at his disposal as well. So what are we going to see outside of the night vision goggles, which are fantastic, but what else are we going to see from Sam this year?
Well, actually, Mike just used a new feature that if you have Kinect, you can like yell at your Kinect and say, hey, you, and then that's going to distract the enemies.
That's fantastic.
Right? And now he's going to use we've given Sam a tactical crossbow, and he's put
This is the year of the crossbow and/or bow. This is
I think we're all watching the same movies or something.
Are you saying the Hunger Games influenced this? Is that what we're saying now?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, then it's not.
But Sam Fisher has several times. Sam Fisher loves it. He pirated it.
But he is seeing all these amazing new gadgets as well. The crossbow is something that
and with the sticky shocker bolt, right? So then you've got some enemies standing in water, and then take them out with one bolt.
I love it. So what are some of the other Kinect voice features for this game?
Well, the other, Sam now is the leader of Echelon, right? So that's kind of a change for him. And we wanted to have a feature that would like show that Sam's the leader and he's interacting with his team. So what we've done is in each map we're gonna have a couple of moments where Sam is able to take a decision with his team. So for E3, for example, we've got a moment where a tactical arrives, a truck with a mounted machine gun, and Grim says, "Okay, I'm controlling the UAV from the plane. If you need help, tell me." And then at one point, we're gonna see it right now.
Does he just scream help as loud as he can?
Oh God, this is happening!
So if you have Kinect, you can yell Grim now, right? And then using the UAV, she's just gonna shoot a rocket and take out the tactical. And again, variety is the key word for us, right? So every map is gonna be different. Some maps you're gonna tell Grim maybe to close the lights, turn off the electricity in the building to help you go in, things like that.
Now, are we gonna see co-op in this game? And if we do, are you gonna play as Sam and then a member of Sam's team as well?
That's a great question.
That's what I do, man.
Phenomenal question, and I can't wait to hear the answer right now, Max.
Let's do it.
I'm going to tell you.
Oh, good. We were hoping that you would have an answer.
I'm not allowed to tell you. They're going to kill me.
Oh, see?
Yeah, so cool. Co-op is back. Co-op is back. We're super excited. Co-op was huge in Conviction, right? So it's making a comeback. Also, what I think is interesting is that we're bringing back Spy versus Mercs, which was also a fan favorite.
Love that.
Back. And we're trying to blur the lines between what single-player co-op and adversarial is, right? So, usually you're playing a game in single-player and then your friends join in, like, hey, let's go play co-op. And then what do? You pause, quit to main menu, load co-op, join your friend. What we're trying to do is, because the game's about Sam, right? Sam's the leader, and so what's gonna happen is every time you finish a mission, you're gonna go back to your plane, to 4th Echelon, and there you're gonna have what we call the SMI, which is the Strategic Mission Interface. It's basically a big iPad table, right?
Nice.
And that's a supercomputer if you want, and on it you're gonna have a map of the world. And from there, you're gonna be able to see all your maps that are available, single player, co-op, and adversarial.
So you're gonna be on a single player game, hop into a multiplayer match, hop out of that, go back in, do the single player campaign.
Exactly.
I love it. Max, when do we get to stab faces and shout at UAVs?
Spring 2013.
Done. Done and done. Max, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for joining us, my friend.
Please do not murder us.
I got 99 problems, but a Twitter wall ain't one. So gangsta. All right, we've got Griff Moy. Definitely looking forward to Splinter Cell Blacklist. The Splinter Cell games get even more brutal with each new installment. Yes, I mean, you're messing with Sam Fisher here, okay? E-Rock 0077. I'm excited about the new Splinter Cell, the originator of night vision in a game. And for that, Sweets, you just won a 1-year membership to Gamefly.com, the best way to rent and buy games. Now, if you want a shot at winning stuff, it's easy. All you have to do is head to G4TV.com/E3Sweeps and use the hashtag E3OnG4 for a chance to win.
All right, guys, coming up, the creators of Burnout put their stamp on another racing game remake. We're going to go hands-on with Need for Speed Most Wanted. Plus, the most buzzed about new game from the Ubisoft press conference has to be Watch Dogs. And we are going to have a first look on our stage very soon, so stay with us.
G4's live coverage of E3 2012 is brought to you by Gamefly, the best way to rent and buy games.
Two years ago, Criterion Games took their knowledge of making Burnout and applied it to remaking Need for Speed Hot Pursuit.
And it worked. Next, they're trying their hand at remaking Need for Speed Most Wanted. Let's go hands-on.
Joining us now, senior producer Steve Cuss, everybody. Steve, how are you, sir?
Hi, very good, thank you.
Let us do a brief overview for someone who maybe hasn't played one of these games yet. First of all, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Second of all, what's the experience?
So, Most Wanted, it's a driving game. It's full of racing, chasing with the cops, and exploring a wonderful open world that we've made for you. And it's all about being most wanted amongst your friends. That's what most wanted means to us in 2012.
So most wanted meaning most wanted by the police.
No, and for us, it's all about being most wanted amongst your friends. So everything you do in our game, whether you're playing single player, multiplayer, or exploring the open world, you're going to earn speed points. And the friend with the most speed points is most wanted amongst their friends. And that's your ultimate goal in this game.
So when I see that a friend has ascended to the level of most wanted, can I then, hop into his game and try to take him down, or?
No, so his records are going to be sprinkled all around the world. So Matt's driving a race right now. It's on the screen behind us, and you can see that there's a friend's time just above the map there that he's trying to beat. And as he goes through things like collectibles, he'll get an instant compare. There you go, he got an instant compare with a friend's time there. So even if your friends aren't online at the same time, in this game, their challenge is always right there.
That is just mean to do so, to put that in somebody's game.
Exactly.
It would drive me insane.
Well, what sort of stuff are we tracking then? Obviously we have race times, we have collectibles. Is it also tracking like drifts, jumps, all that stuff?
Everything, furthest jumps, who's collected the most of all our different types of collectibles, like our garages, who's gone through the most speed gates, if you've been online, who's done the best in some of our events there, who's had the highest cost of state in pursuit with the cops, all of these things.
And now what world are we actually in? I mean, is this an open world or are you around certain tracks? How does it work?
It's a completely open world. The player has the freedom to play this game exactly as they choose. That's a big thing about
Including driving upstairs.
Yeah, you can
I
drive
noticed
upstairs, even drive in, off, through, break, anything that we put in this world. This world is completely open for you to play how you want to play it.
Amazing. And what are some of the game modes that you'll encounter while you're driving around?
So single player is going to be all around race modes, which is a whole variety, and you're going to find that the cops, as we've just seen with Matt there, are going to start chasing you through that world. And you know, when you go into free drive modes, because it's a seamless experience, we're never going to take you out of that, you can start to explore, you can get into chases with the cops. Multiplayer's a little different.
And then, of course, you know, a driving game, it's a little bit about the cars that you have. What cars are we going to see?
Absolutely. So there's over 60 cars in this game, all licensed, all beautifully modeled, as you can see here today. We've done an awful lot of work on our lighting to make them really sit in that world.
I feel you designed such gorgeous vehicles, and then in 2 seconds they are shattered to pieces as you slam into everything. I love it.
That's in Criterion's DNA, to take something beautiful and smash it up.
Exactly.
We want to subvert everything we do.
What is your favorite car?
For me, I really like the Impreza that we've been showing today. The Porsche's a really nice car, but the Subaru Impreza is really small. It's got great acceleration.
The WRX handles like a dream too. It grips the road.
Yeah. And in these off-road sections,
I know, this is what got the fan over
my
here.
baby for a while. I love that car, yeah.
And what can we expect from multiplayer?
Okay, so multiplayer is completely new. So for Criterion, if anyone who's played Burnout Paradise will know that we'd love to make an open experience where we think lobbies are really old and no one wants to sit in a lobby. We just want you in the world, driving the car, exploring this gameplay that we've packed it with. So we've created something we call playlists, which serves up gameplay to you, almost like a gameplay DJ, all different types of experiences that we've created in the open world.
So I'm driving around in an open world with my friends online, and then it pops up and goes, hey, you guys want to do a race over here? Let's get to that
First thing it does is make you meet up, so it's a social thing, because we know that when we put players together in the world, fun ensues.
Sure.
Generally, they start smashing each other.
Of course, yeah. Fun means destruction. We get that, yeah.
And then an event, so it might be a race, it might be a team race, it might be the all-new events that we've called speed tests. And they're speed tests because you've only got 90 seconds to complete a challenge. And you've got tactics there, so you can decide to try and go for the best score, or you can just try and eliminate everyone else who's in the event and win that way.
Oh, points for griefing.
Exactly. I'm the guy that makes the U-turn as quickly as possible, so everybody T-bones me. I'm that guy. This is why Morgan and I never play
This
together.
is why we
One
don't
of the
play.
many reasons.
This is why we don't play online.
But when can we play this?
So, Need for Speed Most Wanted is coming October 30th.
All platforms?
On all
across everything?
platforms, yeah.
Love it.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I can't wait to take out Kevin.
The game looks awesome. I just wanted to quickly say something. Candace Bailey, I have had a great time working with you here so far.
I have had a great time working with you too. Thank you.
We got an all from a crew member. That never happens. Those guys are dead inside. After the break, the mysterious new game that set Twitter on fire after its surprise announcement at the Ubisoft press conference.
We'll get a first look at Watch Dogs after the break.
I can't
you don't want to miss it.
I can't wait.
Me neither.
G4's live coverage of E3 2012 is brought to you by Kit Kat Bars. Break time, anytime.
Attack of the Show is back starting Monday. Join me and Sarah Underwood as we kick off a summer full of special guest hosts, including the Nerdist Chris Hardwick and comedians Rob Delaney, Mo Mandel, and Baratunde Thurston. Oh, it all begins Monday, June 11th here on G4.
Welcome back. Do us a favor, won't you? Check out G4TV.com for more E312 coverage presented by the all-new Ford Focus ST. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so one of the biggest surprise announcements and most buzzed about games of this year's E3 has to be Ubisoft's Watch Dogs. This cyber thriller came out of nowhere and got the industry talking. But what is Watch Dogs? Well, let us unravel the mystery with this first look. Joining us now, the game's creative director, Jonathan Morin. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I don't know how you guys kept this game a secret, but you did. I am very impressed. What is the game about?
Well, Watch Dogs is an action-adventure game, a brand new game done by Ubisoft Montreal. It's set in Chicago. It's an open-world game, and it's about Aiden Pierce, a man shaped by violence and obsessed with surveillance, who's going to have to push his obsession to control an entire city and fight the system's corruption.
Okay, so right now we're looking at Aiden, and what is he doing?
Well, basically right now Aiden is setting a trap for DeMarco using his cell phone, so he's able to use a tool to attract him to a spot so he can create an accident using the traffic light. But then afterwards he can use all of the car that has been generated out of the accident to use as cover, and then basically he got him by surprise so he can actually take his men before they can get there.
So surveillance is actually like a mechanic in the game.
Yes, surveillance and all the systems in the game are at the disposition of the player. So anything that you can think of that's in an urban environment that has been driven by a computer or that is stacked onto Wi-Fi is something you can control in Watch Dogs.
See, was it exciting trying to think of all the ways that you could hack into the things around us? Because that's a little terrifying.
It's terrifying, yeah. Like, it's cool. Like every time you tap that into your YouTube, everything like you find there is crazy. So we basically made sure we wanted to use like reality. The game looks gorgeous, it looks realistic, but also what you do in it is believable. Like all of the stuff you do, the way you hack everything, the way you access cell phones, credit card exploitation, like traffic lights, even CTOS itself is comparable to Rio de Janeiro and what they're doing with IBM for the Olympics. So we're really pushing the boundaries of what's real, but we're not yet near future. We're really present time pushing the boundaries of what we can do in real life.
Okay, so for the shooting mechanics specifically, it's cover-based?
It's cover-based. One thing we wanted to push is leverage what we know best at Ubisoft Montreal. So, starting point was you guys saw like Splinter Cell. Like we can benefit from the know-how of that. So there's cover system. We've pushed we've pushed the animations to its limits. We've learned a lot from Splinter Cell and all of that. So we can combine shooting, cover, but also navigation, sliding on cars, doing takedowns at the same time. So we can really feel like the player and the character Aiden Pierce is really agile and comfortable in the open environment.
So is Aiden a character, is he like a reluctant hero? Is he more like Sam Fisher in Splinter Cell?
Actually, he's more of an anti-hero. Like to a certain degree, he's also a bit disturbed by what happened in the past and what he can do about it. So now you're going to really explore a man who's digging into his own justice, trying to make a point to get back to his life in the first place. And to do so, he's going to have to explore like his obsession and learn more about himself. Like trying to first figure out his own problem, but by tapping into everybody's lives around him, seeing every citizen's out there, then it's going to force him to get into the drama of other persons as well. So there's a risk getting lost in there. The player's going to have to be careful.
Who is he speaking with right now?
Right now he's speaking with Jordy, is one of his contacts. He's a really interesting man. We don't want to reveal too much about that guy yet. But one thing we're really interested about is to make sure every character represents an interesting part of the underground of Chicago. So you can really dig into not only the crime life, not only the low-key criminal, but also the jet set, the men with the money, the men with the power, corruption in government, those kinds of things. So you'll get the entire spectrum of what criminal and corruption is in Chicago.
The game, I have to say, really looks beautiful. How much time did you spend working on the graphics?
We spent a lot of time, actually. We've been more than 2 years into that project, and we still have plenty of time to go to push to the limits. What's interesting for us is to say to ourselves, let's make out of Watch Dogs a game that's more along the lines of Michael Mann instead of Michael Bay. Not that I don't like Michael Bay. Michael Bay is cool.
Michael Bay has a place in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
We've all seen
But,
a Michael Bay movie or two. We'll admit to it.
Exactly, but Michael Bay has been present a lot in the game industry, so now like we wanted to push something more realistic. So the graphic is important, but also the weather, the wind. If you tap into some people that are in danger and you want to interfere with them and help them, then seeing them walk on the street with the wind of Chicago, with the scarf flying in the wind and feeling that they're cold themselves, make them more human, and all the graphics out there makes it sure that people believe in the stories that they're going to tap into.
And there are a great number of people on the screen, and it looks like you can interact with a lot of them.
Yeah, actually, when you are in an interior, like if you go to a Starbucks, for example, how many people are playing out with their laptop, iPads, iPhones, stuff like that? You can get into what they're doing. You can either intercept important people to go along with a mission, or you can get lost into the stories of everybody in Chicago, discovering more truth out of it, learning more about the city, or maybe learning even more about your enemies to discover more truth out of the game.
Well, I can't wait to start spying on people. Any idea, I know it's early, any idea when Watch Dogs is going to be released?
Like I said earlier on, like unfortunately we cannot say any dates for now. Like we're going to ship it when we're done. It's clearly not in 2012. Clearly not. And the thing is, we want to push as far as possible. Like the mandate we receive as a content company is to push the content to its limit. That's what we're doing right now.
All right, well, I can't wait to see more of this game, and I'm sure we will tell you as soon as we find out when it is coming out. Jonathan, thanks so much for coming by. We really appreciate it.
Awesome, thank you guys. All right, this year's E3 is filled with big sequels. There's a new Gears. There's a new Dead Space. Are you guys applauding the new sequels? Or just applauding anything? Let's go flip a car and set it on fire! Anyway, new Gears, new Dead Space, new Assassin's Creed, many, many more games with a 2, a 3, or a 4, or a 12 at the end. But there are a few brand new properties here on the show floor. We're going to take a closer look right now in this news break. All right. Joining me now, USA Today tech reporter Mike Snyder and the host of the Ubisoft press conference, a huge gamer as well, according to this teleprompter. Aisha Tyler is here. You play the games. By the way, congratulations. You said you found 7 positive comments on a gaming forum.
It was so exciting.
About the press conference.
I did the UV press conference on Monday, which was super fun because I actually do play. And the first thing people love to say about you when you say you're a gamer is, she's never touched a controller in her life.
Prove it. You must like Mario Tetris only.
No, yeah, I play with sticks and dominoes. I was so stoked. It went so well. And I went on the Gap forum and people mainly said nice things. And then occasionally someone threw up on their keyboard and then hit send.
Well, that's the internet.
Yeah,
as long as it was an all caps,
hey, internet, what's
it's
up,
fine.
haters? Woo!
All right, well, Mike, what are you seeing on the internet, and what are you feeling personally? Like, is this the year that people are fed up with the 2s and the 3s, or is there still room for original IPs?
Well, you know, what I think is great about the video game industry is when you get to 2 and 3 and 4, you're actually getting a better game. You're getting a more evolved product. You're getting probably a better story. But there are some really cool new properties, which are kind of a challenge, and studios are taking a dare on trying to create a new property because it costs so much more.
Especially this late in the console cycle, because we know next year there's going to be new consoles, new announcements. It's kind of weird to take a potentially multi-million-dollar bet on something that is on an aging platform.
Right. I mean, but I also think that it's all about creating new IPs. A lot of times, a lot of 2s are disappointing. There were some 3s that were great. I thought Gears 3 was amazing. Obviously, there's a new Gears coming out, Judgment, which I played. It looks amazing. But I feel like that if you can launch that great new IP and you're in kind of in the beginning of the wave of the next gen, like we're going to be ready for the next gen when it comes and we're already developing in that direction.
Sure.
It's hard to both be next gen and also have a new IP, but once people are invested in that IP, then you go to next gen, you got a lock on that.
Well, what have you guys seen and played at this E3 that gets you going, that's original?
Well, we've talked about zombies a bit, and you had some hands-on experience with that, right?
I played both a new IP on a next gen platform. I played Zombie U. Insanely, it looks like this little thing looks like a little baby game. It does. I'm gonna admit, it looks. I was like, is it gonna be Plants vs. Zombies?
Fisher-Price, my first zombie.
Exactly, my first zombies. But it's insanely fun. It's super interactive. There's like first and second screen interactivity. So you use the little screen to kind of scan your landscape.
Didn't feel gimmicky. It felt like
it felt great. It felt like a real zombie world. I love Left 4 Dead. That's a favorite zombie game of mine, but I feel like this one felt a little bit more authentic. As authentic as it's not like there's real. It's real.
Did it feel like
felt just like real world zombies? Like when I'm really killing
Right.
zombies, it felt like
I felt like I was looking around Miami. Everybody
But,
was
you
on
know,
bath salts.
The controller still has all of the kind of the interactivity that you expect. It's got, you know, focus set shooting. It's got right and left bumpers, but there's a little bit more interactivity, and it's terrifying. Zombies leap out at you. I was so happy when I finally got my shotgun. Ladies and gentlemen, do not enter the zombie apocalypse without a shotgun.
have one.
It will end badly for you.
All right, well that's exciting. That's good to hear. Mike, what about you?
Well, one question I had about that game was that it looked like in the demo you used the pad like a hatchet.
No.
You don't?
That was just gamer fear.
Okay, all
That
right.
was just the thing when something jumps out and you go,
Because I
I
was afraid there'd be a lot of broken TVs out there if that's the way it went.
You use it a little bit when you're looking around your world to scan for like weapons and stuff to pick up, but not when you're fighting.
I can't wait for them to announce
trigger
the
and
add-on
scream.
gel coating that you have to put around
Right.
your Wii gamepad and the dual straps,
Yes.
so that it doesn't go flying through the TV or land on a dog.
My controller goes flying through the TV now. Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Mike, there was Last of Us, there was Beyond Two Souls, there was Dishonored, there, you know.
All three of those look awesome. You just had Watch Dogs on here.
Yes.
You know, for an internet generation, this game is like made for people like that. You get to hack into, you know, like say we have a crowd of people here, and if you're in the game, I could hack into everybody's, you know, accounts, you know what your income is, know what your medical reports are, and things like that.
And don't you also feel like, for me, what I loved about Watch Dogs is it felt like a real open world experience. It was, you know, obviously you
I
can
feel
stay
like
on
the city was
campaign, you can
alive.
go anywhere, you can do anything, and it was
Yeah.
beautiful. It was that best combination of kind of role playing, problem solving, and then shooting.
And I love
so
like,
much
the little
shooting.
nuances where an accident happens and the pedestrians go to help each other.
Yes.
Like, man, I can't wait to murder all of these people.
AI was crazy,
I cannot
right?
wait.
Why don't I just blow that guy up so I can hurt that guy down the street? Why not?
We'll kill
yeah.
them all. Mike,
yeah.
Aisha.
You mentioned Beyond.
yes.
I
Very
just
quickly.
saw a little bit of that. It looks like Heavy Rain, but giant, bigger. It's like a blockbuster version of that. So
I
I'm
agree.
looking forward to playing
It's
that.
like an iteration, but it looks like an evolution, actually.
Yep.
All right, thank you guys so much for joining
So
us. Sorry we're out of
fun.
time, but
Oh, it's
that's
great.
such a pleasure to chat with you.
Yeah.
Aisha, Mike,
Thank
you
you.
so
You
much.
too.
Now we're sending it over to Candace Bailey.
We have got time for one last journey into Twitter Town. Thanks, guys. Now, I want to just point out really quick that our E3 tweet counter has reached over 2 million. That is crazy. Okay, let's see. Yuri Eugen, watching this show has been awesome the past 3 days. Go G4! Yay! Well, we are on again tomorrow for 3 hours live, so make sure you tune in to G4. And in other Twitter news, tweeter RN19 just won an Xbox 360. Yay, congrats. Didn't win? Hey, it's okay. Don't cry. Keep checking in at g4tv.com/E3sweeps and using the hashtag E3 on G4 because we will be checking in with the Twitter wall tomorrow with even more prizes to give away. In fact, tweets from this hour will be eligible to win a PlayStation 3 at the beginning of tomorrow's live coverage. Stick around, we have still got more E3 on the way. I am super serial. I am.
G4's live coverage of E3 2012 is brought to you by the all-new Ford Focus ST.
Tomorrow, E3 2012's biggest games at the G4 stage, and we're giving you unprecedented access. Grab your ticket for post-apocalyptic Russia and board the train for Metro Last Light. We walk you through the game that bravely mixes first-person shooting with survival horror.
Don't drop your guard for an instant.
The Amazing Spider-Man is here to prove that it is possible for movie adaptations to soar. We go hands-on with the web slinger to experience all the high-flying action. Plus, we have our look at the Facebook game that's sure to demolish your spare time. The mad scientists at Insomniac Games give us a tour of their quirky strategy title, Outer Knots.
I'll kill everyone.
And we have our demo of the mysterious thriller, Beyond Two Souls. The makers of Heavy Rain bring you a moody new adventure that also features a surprising amount of action. All that, plus exclusive interviews, the latest trailers, and all the news as it breaks. Trust us, you don't want to miss it.
I think they get the message.
It is time to throw down the gauntlet and decide which games are truly the best of E3.
Yes! All day we've been running around the show floor dropping fancy nominee badges at the booth of our favorite games.
On Thursday's show, we're going to be giving out out the awards for the biggest surprise, Best Xbox 360 game, Best PS3, Best Nintendo, and the big one, Game of the Show.
Plus, we're actually going to begin announcing winners in a bunch of other categories, doing a special live stream of G4TV.com's feedback at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Just go to G4TV.com/feedback for this very special live event.
And hey, while you're at your internet computer, head on over to G4TV.com/bestofE3 for the full list of nominees. Guess what, folks?
Yes.
That does it for today.
We did it.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
We made it.
So much.
Yes, y'all are great.
G4's coverage of E3 12 Live continues tomorrow at 6. For up-to-the-minute E3 news, check out G4TV.com. Guess what? American Ninja Warrior is up next. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye, everybody. Keep that up.